easy life is sweet when January comes. As long as one team's bowling and the other's making runs. I know as soon as I wake up if it's my lucky day. If the cricket's on the ABC, then everything's okay. And the cricket's on my radio, and everybody's laying low. As long as there's a game somewhere, that's all I need to know. And there's cricket on my radio.
Yes, it's cricket on your radio, but for the South Africans, it's not the most happiest of times with getting their cricket on the radio, as their team right now is in a lot of trouble. They're staring defeat in the face in the first test match between New Zealand and South Africa in Christchurch. South Africa 34 for 3, trailing New Zealand by 353 runs to avoid an innings defeat. They were at one stage 4 for 3, but Themba Bavuma and Rassie van der Dussen managed to get the score and navigate that final session to get that score up to 34 for 3. My name is Mpho Mkhulwane, and welcome to our broadcast here at Guerrilla Cricket South Africa. I've got a newbie with me. His name is Purav. I'm going to ask him to explain where he is in the world and how he got to find us. Purav, it looks very sunny where you are, so that gives us an indication, but let us know a little bit about yourself.
Thanks, Mpho. Good morning, Guerrilla Cricket listeners. It has been indeed a great pleasure to join you all. I am at Canberra, and the time right now is 8:58 a.m. So it's nice and sunny. It is still our summer going on, so I just want to watch cricket with the Guerrilla Cricket Warriors and have a good day.
Yes, that is very true. Thank you very much. We are so happy to have you joining us, Purav. Remember, you can listen to us on our different platforms. Purav, I'm going to ask you to just mute that sound there on your end. But thank you very much for listening to us on our different platforms on YouTube. Please do subscribe to us on YouTube, also as well as on Facebook, and as well as our 1WSR.com player, where you can just listen, and as well as tune in. We're also live on TuneIn. So we've got so many places. The one thing I can ask is for you to tweet us at Guerrilla SA, GUERILLA SA. We're just trying to get all the things going as we see Themba Bavuma on screen getting ready to face off the day. He's on 22 off 20 balls, and Rassie van der Dussen, his partner, he's on 9 off 12. So that's going to be quite an interesting passage of play today, this morning, as the South Africans want to give a bit of a fight back right now to ensure that they do not necessarily lose. Losing is an inevitability, I think, at this point in time, Purav, but they just want to lose with showing something, some fight, some courage. There's a gracious loss, and I think that's going to be it. We're about to start. Matt Henry coming in with 3 slips and a gully to Rassie van der Dussen. The full ball outside off stump, played down to the leg side for a no run. As we're going to add a new man we've missed for a very long time to in these guerrilla streets, and that is Ravi Reddy, sitting there on his, I'm assuming, his couch at home. How are you doing, Ravi?
Good.
Matt Henry coming through again, and it's a peach of a ball, second ball, and Rassie's defenses are broken. and it is a wicket to Matt Henry. When New Zealand get the breakthrough, the ball just came jagging back slightly, and it beats Russie's bat. It beat his pad, and it took off stump. And South Africa starting again with
God.
the drama that has plagued this team for 2 days.
Absolute peach of a delivery. I was just about to say new day, new beginning for South Africa, but I just have to hold that back now.
Well, it could be a new beginning, Purav, but it's just might just end up being the same old, because I've never seen a ball that good in a while, and Matt Henry just produced a peach. It's like New Zealand,
Unplayable.
Ravi. It's like New Zealand, or it's like New Zealand are playing on a different pitch, so they're just rolling out a different pitch for South Africa, the spicy one. And then for their own people, they have their own little pitch that they bat on, because this isn't what New Zealand were batting on. It can't be what New Zealand were batting on.
Yeah,
and so it brings a player you are a fan of, Ravi, as a Western Province Boyki. And that's Zubair Hamza coming in his 6th test, looking to resurrect his international career. And he's only averaged 18. You can see probably one of the reasons why he was dropped in the first place, which I thought was very tough for him. But now he is back in the side, selected over Ryan Rickleton, 3 slips, Gali backward point. Matt Henry coming into Zubair Hamza. This one slightly wide outside the off stump, tailing a little back in. Zubair shoulders arms, and let's go to the Tom Blundell for no run.
How's this for timing? You can't say my timing isn't impeccable.
Your timing is perfect. So have you got Purav here, who is in Canberra, Australia, which is pretty awesome. Our Guerrilla network is going wide. Very, very wide. Next ball in. Oh, wow. It's a play and a miss. Zubair playing on his back foot as the ball goes just outside that off stump. He had to fend it, and it missed that bat. And the New Zealanders are in an incredible mood right now, joyous mood, because Matt Henry bowled one that went away. He bowled one that came in, and the one that came in was the wicket ball, and he's doing the exact same thing to Zubair Hamza. 5th ball of this over, this one straighter, and Zubair defends that with his bat down the ground for no run.
And one that held its line as well. If you look at Russie's sort of reaction to that, normally a batsman would be disgruntled, but he almost seemed like, had a reaction of that was absolutely unplayable. There's nothing I could really do about a delivery like that, Imagine getting that on.
Last ball of the first over, just played out by Zubair, out to point, no run. 34 for 4. Purav, you have been watching this game. You haven't been on commentary with us. What did you make of South Africa's performance so far in this match?
Yes, so I was following the game yesterday, and my first understanding was why is Kagiso Rabada and the other bowlers not like bowling at like full pace? They were still down on their pace. So was there were they carrying any injury or what went wrong on day 2 for South Africa?
No, I think Kagiso's been fine. It's a little bit of color, to say the least.
He's bowling in the 140s. It's a bit unusual, that one.
Yes.
And Jansen was also bowling around 120s, 120 kilometer range. So when I think in what I have observed is in like Australia and New Zealand, you just need raw pace to make some inroads.
First ball for Tim Southee's over to Temba. This one just an away swinger to the right-handed batter, and Temba just choosing not to play at that. He's having a beautiful time in Protea colours is Temba Bavuma, and he'll be truly hoping to score some runs in a losing cause. I told you, Ravi, that this is a milestone game. It's for somebody to score 100 in a losing cause, as the next ball just goes straight through to Tom Blundell. Timber letting it go through outside the off stump, no run. But Ravi, you were optimistic after day one. It reminded you of that test match at Newlands in 2011 when South Africa came back after being bowled out for 95 in that first innings. But it just hasn't worked out that way.
No, it hasn't. This has been the New Zealand show specifically. It's been they're just belonging to everybody in that New Zealand outfit. Everybody's playing at an optimal level, and nothing seems to be working out for South Africa. It's unfortunate. It goes like it times.
This next ball from Salvi. Timber just defending that one off the bat out to the cover region. It was a lot fuller this time. A little bit of a away swing, but he did come forward for no run. On YouTube, some comments. Jagannath has some questions about Rassie. He says, how long more chances are we giving more chances to Rassie? Even Michael Bevan and Thorpe didn't play test cricket. It's enough for him. Next ball from Saudi, just outside that off stump, 6-stump line, tailing back into Timber. He lets that go through for no run. He said it's enough for him. He is gutsy but can't play like this. Jagannath says we need Vian Mulder because he knows how to get wickets. That's an interesting one, Ravi. What do you think of the South African team throughout that India series? Because you were watching that with us, and that's when you joined our team.
Yes, I was absolutely blown away with the depth and with the skills of South Africa's batting unit, as well as the new bowlers like Marco Jensen, who I had not much idea about. So that was a clinical performance from like South Africa in the last series, and South Africa are like also missing their 3 key players when they came here, so that could be a factor.
Next ball, just Saudi just let that Timber just letting that go through to the keeper for no run. Saudi in again to Timber. It's a lot straighter, getting Timber to play at that one. I was honing in on off stump. Timber glancing that down to the leg side. Well, not a glance, it was just a lot more of a straight drive to Kyle Jamieson at mid on for no run. End of that, over to maiden over 34 for New Zealand, doing everything in their power to show the world that they are World Test champions, and deservedly so, I might add. So
yeah, absolutely, they're the champs. They're showing their true mettle. I mean, I thought we had a window of opportunity when Trent Boult wasn't available for this test, but boy, was I wrong. I was wrong about a number of things, actually, with regards to this match.
Matt Henry up outside the off stump, and Zubair Hamza just letting that go through. Harshit, who's a really good fan of ours, he says, hey, everyone, will you be up the whole night? It's around 3:30 a.m. in my place. And still watching the match. It's around midnight on our end here, Harshit. But for Purav is in Canberra, and it's 9 a.m. as Zubair Hamza gets a ball on the block hole that he defends out back to Matt Henry for no run. Second ball in that over. No runs have been taken, but South Africa have already lost the wicket. Yes, Purav.
And for all the Alan Donald fans, I just want to let you know that Tim Southee passed his record yesterday. So now Tim Southee is 332 Test wickets. Alan Donald has taken 331 Test wickets.
That puts a dagger in many South Africans' hearts, as this one next ball just swings away from Zubair Hamza, who lets that go through for no run.
He's got a similar action to Donald, I have to say. I do recall Alan Donald working closely with Tim Southee back in the 2011.
But he doesn't have that big chesty gather that Donald had at the top of the lineup. Henry into Zubair's a little bit shorter this time, and Hamza just defends it out to the leg side. There is that that square leg who is running in for no run. You also want these two, because the thing about it is
opportunity.
Yes, so like for instance, for Zubair to silence his haters, but you need them to try to find a way to score runs. They need to rotate the strike. They need to get New Zealand frustrated some way. As Henry comes into Zubair, it gets the edge of the bat. This one outside the off stump, he was fending at that with no foot movement, and it rolled to the fielder gully for no run. 34 for 4. But yeah, that's what you want, because obviously Zubair's new coming back in, someone I've wanted to see in the side for a very long time, because I think he's learned a lot from his time away from the game, and so this is his opportunity to do that, as well as the last ball of that over rising off a length out, and Zubair just shouldering arms, doesn't want to do anything with that, and he lets that go through to the keeper for no run. End of the 12th over, still no run scored in the day, but South Africa have already lost a wicket.
And there will be no respite for the South African batsmen throughout the day, because after this spell you have to face Jamieson, Wagner, and Colin de Grandhomme. So this is a real test of the South African batsmen here.
No, truly a really real test. Ravi, have you been watching the CSA T20 challenge? Tim Southee coming into Timber, very tight on that off stump. Timber letting that go through on length to Blundell no run. Harshit asks, what are my predictions for the CSA T20 challenge? Who's winning it this time? He says he backs the Dolphins with Miller as the player of the tournament if he's fit for all the games. I say your team, Ravi, very surprising. They've been very good. Western Province, unbeaten as well, with Parnell and Richard Levy and Dane Villas coming back.
It seems to be coming together. Yeah.
Southee into Timber. This one's a lot straighter, as Southee's searching for that swing. Timber plays that out to the leg side for just a single. He wanted two. Zubair Hamza said no. I also want to face Tim Southee. And one goes through to the South Africa. Finally gets their runs off the board. First runs of the day. So that's
you raise an interesting point about province, Western Province at least. With both Hamza and Verena not being in the team, they're still pulling off some good results out there. The CSA T20.
Yeah. And that's
the anchor.
It's been the surprising thing for me, Ravi. Don't worry. Southee into Zubair. This one is shaping into that off stump, and Zubair just defends it out to Carl Jamieson, who's standing at mid-on for no run. 35 for 4. How many wickets do you think we can take, Purav, in this session of ours, the first 40 minutes?
I think I'm expecting a couple more, because it is still the first hour of the day, and where the ball does move the most. So looking at how that test match has gone for the South African batsmen, I think it should be over by tea.
Southee, this one on middle stump line, hoping for that swing away, but Zubair Hamza playing that down the leg side, a little bit easier for him. But he hasn't scored a run of 12 balls. Timber is on 23 of 28. South Africa trailing by a mammoth 352. More comments coming through. Chris TB says, I don't think any team is missing as many players as my Lions, which is true. My Lions are missing so many players. Just give us Ryan Rickleton if he's not going to play here. And then Wondering Biku I'll be asking a question from his. Ooh, this one's an interesting one. Starting outside the off stump on the back of a length, tailing back in this time. We've been seeing away swingers this whole over, and the first in swinger from Tim Southee to Zubair Hamza, who defends that off his toes on the back foot for no run, just back to the bowler. Wondering Biku asks, just what has happened to South Africa? Hope they come back with a bit more fight in the next test. That was asked to Mark Boucher. They asked him, has the goodwill from the India series gone in this performance? Prav, do you think that goodwill from that India series, do you think that has gone away? As Southee comes in to Zubair, who defends that one out to the leg side for no run. End of the 13th, 35 for 4. They've done such a great job against India, and all of a sudden, this is the team we have.
I don't think so. For because
Mm,
two bad days at the office is slightly an overreaction. You just have to understand that South Africa are like also missing Keegan Peterson, who was one of the star performers during the last series, and
mm.
let us wait for one more game, and then we could analyze further.
Okay. And that's the um yes, Ravi, do we have any tweets? After this ball, Matt Henry to Timber Bavume gets a peach outside the stump. Timber has to play at that one. It went straight on with the arm, not a lot of swing, but it was a play and a miss for the New Zealanders. They'll be very interested because they thought they could have gotten that edge of Timber.
So no tweets recently. I mean, the last tweet we got was from Simon Gear himself. I want some
Mm.
of whatever Matt Henry is eating for breakfast these days. Hashtag New Zealand versus South Africa at Gorilla SA.
I also want what he's having for breakfast. Next ball's the back of a length on that off stump. Timber defending that on his toes out to the offside. No run.
But they were like setting us up there, I feel, with Matt Henry, because I remember the commentators were saying in New Zealand broadcast team, they were saying he's been in and out of the side for a while, he's
Mm,
finding form, he's always struggled on this ground, and it felt like the biggest
mm.
con in the world.
Next ball from Henry, a little bit straighter. Timber playing that out to the leg side to mid wicket. They'll come through for an easy two. And South Africa score their third run of the day. They've lost the first wicket and they've gotten a third run of the day. If you are just joining 17 minutes ago or 15 minutes ago
Mm.
at 2 minutes past midnight South African time, Rassie got a ball that swung in a little and bowled his off stump out of the ground.
Gotcha.
And as one of the
It
key
was a
moments
japper.
of
You
it was
can't do anything about the ball like that.
from from Matt Henry, and South Africa lost their fourth wicket, and then now they've only scored 3 runs since then. Next ball from Matt Henry. Timber just defending it out to the offside, back of a length for no run. Onke Lademin Diasi says, I don't know how to do it justice, but he's not happy. As this one, again, Timber defending this one out to the offside for no run. Wandering Biku says, gotta love Wagner. He was great in the 100, proper Merv Hughes kind of character.
And Bangladesh cricket fans who just read the scorecard, they would just wonder that yes, our team was much more better in New Zealand than like South Africa. That I think that was already one of the biggest upsets of the year. Bangladesh beating New Zealand in New Zealand.
That is, and that was very surprising. Is that last ball of that over defended out to the offside, end of that over, is South Africa 37 for 4. And that kind of gave us as South Africans, as Bangladesh gave us as South Africans a little bit of hope to say that this team is beatable. Because you looked at that New Zealand side, that a soft underbelly from a batting perspective, obviously, and also without Trent Bolt, I would have fancied my chances. But what is proven has been the contrary.
And talking about Bangladesh, that highest 5th wicket partnership in New Zealand has been scored by 2 Bangladeshi batsmen, Shakib Al Hasan and Mushfiqur Rahim, for 359 runs in Wellington in a test match in 2017. So if you want hope, I can still give you hope here.
And we're going to need lots of it. First ball from Tim Southee, just swinging away, Zubair Hamza letting it go through. Ravi was the eternal optimist 2 days ago. Are you still that sort of eternal optimist, Ravi? 500-run partnership between these two, getting South Africa back in the game?
No. I need to lay off the magic mushrooms there for a second. To be honest with you, I think this certainly does present a fantastic opportunity for both Bavuma and Hamza. as well as Verena coming in next.
Mm.
Just to further cement their places in the team, more so for Hamza and Verena. And just to make a stamp on the ground to say that this is my spot for a long while. We've seen it with Keegan Peterson in the India tour. Now it's time to see the others step up.
Second ball of the over was just defended to the leg side. It was a lot straighter from Tim Southee. He's getting the South Africans to play a lot more of his balls, whereas Matt Henry is just playing in that corridor of uncertainty. Southee in again, slightly wider this time, more six-stump line, and Zubair Hamza letting that go to the keeper for no run. I'm really happy to see Zubair, Ravi. I don't know about you, and everyone's been asking for Ryan Rickleton, but I've thought that he was the one guy who needed another opportunity in the side to restart his Test career. We've been looking for Hashim Amla's replacement. We found Keegan Peterson, but I do think Zubair would do wonders in that South African middle order if given the chance again. And let's hope that he can do something in this match to make us believe that. As he gets a ball on that off stump, he comes forward to it. Was a fuller length ball, get a bit of an inside edge down to the leg side. It will run through for 2. Score goes up to 39 for 5 runs on the board for South Africa today, but it's 5 runs for the loss of 1 wicket. Chris TB says Bangladesh beat New Zealand. Who beat South Africa? Who beat India? So I reckon Bangladesh will score 1,000 against India later this year. Prav, do you think that's going to happen? Bangladesh surprising India?
I think so. If Bangladesh plays on the pitch what they like, anything can happen in cricket, as you know.
Yes, this one's a ball straight on off stump. Zubair Hamza defending that out back to the bowler for no run. South Africa still behind by 348. Let's forget about the trailing. Let's just see what they trail by.
Let's get some runs on the board.
Yeah. Only 348 runs. Please.
Yeah, ball by ball.
Throw some positive.
Yeah, take each ball as it comes. Yeah. That's the thing. It's actually time is South Africa's greatest asset here. And let's face the facts. We're not going to win this match. But
back
it's
of the
good
ball outside the off stump, and Tim Southee plays that out. Not Tim Southee. Zubair Hamza defends Zubair Hamza defends it out to the offside to end that over. And so South Africa 39 for 4.
Poor Zubair looks like he's in a bit of discomfort there. I don't know if you picked up on that. Like a bit of a lower back.
Yeah, he had a bit of he had medical help from Craig Govender at the end of that over. Let's just hope it's nothing huge. Well, back strains are happening all around this team because Lungingiti's out with a back strain. That's why he's not playing.
And I would say that every South African batsman looks in a bit of discomfort. Not only him,
I think there's about 40 billion South Africans that are probably watching right now that are in discomfort.
Yeah. Matt Henry with the ball just tailing into Timber Bavuma to start it over outside the off stump. Timber just defending it back to the bowler. No run. Yeah, look, the South Africans were in a lot of discomfort to start this series, and I just don't like the fact that we start Test match series like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it certainly was the case against India in the first test. But at least we showed a little bit of backbone in the second innings, at least.
Henry into Bavuma searching for that off stump with a couple that are tailing in and defended back to the bowler for no run. Matt Henry's having an amazing test match, 1 away from getting his 10th. He's also scored 58, which is he's the only man to score 50 runs at number 11 after taking 7 wickets. Next ball outside the off stump, Timber just letting that go through on a good length.
Yeah, it's been a nightmare for South Africa, but I think you got to go through those games in order to become a better version of yourself as a team. It needs to get worse before it gets better. I use that. I'm a United fan. We have been saying that for the last 10 years.
That off-stump guard. This ball coming back into him on the hips. He plays that really nicely to the leg side. And it'll just be a no run taken off of that one. Look, I thought that this team had turned the corner in that India series, Ravi, but it seems like it hasn't.
Everyone
Seems like
looks
India deteriorated badly.
everyone looks
Correct.
like a tiger in their own backyard in Test cricket, which is
Fair
what I
point.
believe.
It's a
Everyone
fair
looks
point.
like a king in their house as the next
Yeah.
ball swings away. Timber pulling his bat out at the right
Remember-
time on a back of the length. And it is caught by Blundell, but no run there. Nothing for the South Africans to be
Yeah.
truly worried about.
But
Remember South Africa, I think a lot of the cricket fans in South Africa, they were quite impatient. We demand the best. And I think a lot of us want South Africa to be back to where they were back in 2012, back where they were in that 2011 to 2013 period, where we were just dominating at home and overseas. And the reality is that it took a while for us to get to that stage. We were dominating at home, of course. We were tiger in our own backyards, as Purav rightfully said. And eventually we became very good at actually beating people, the opposition overseas. And it's going to take us a long time to get to that point.
This last baller that man Henry over was an in-swinger into Timber, but he let that go through on length. So 39 for 4, South Africa having only scored 5 runs for the loss of 1 wicket. Tim Southee into Zubair Hamza. It's short, it's pulled. There is no fielder in the deep. It will bounce once, bounce again, and hit that boundary hoardings. 4 runs. First boundary of the day for South Africa. An uncharacteristic ball from Tim Southee met with a really well-controlled shot from Zubair Hamza.
Now you need to sing a jingle there, Empo. You have to sing a jingle.
Oh, when we had jingles. Oh, when we had jingles.
it looked like a controlled shot, but still I was not convinced because he looked a bit of off balance there.
Yes,
Runs
this
are
is a
runs.
bit of a chocolate dish.
I'll take it.
When you're
Full
like you
ball
are
outside the off
340.
stump, defended by Zubair Hamza, back to Tim Southee, no run. He did top edge it a little bit, but the fielders on the leg side are Fine Leg, who's very straight. You've also got Square Leg, who's sitting in the ring, and you've also got the fielder at mid-on. So it was a safer shot than most, and so he knew that, and he just needed to make sure they didn't pull it too much, so he could go around the corner to that fine leg. Oh, what a beautiful ball from Tim Southee, tailing into that off stump. Zubair Hamza defending with his life there, bringing his bat in, because had he missed, that would have been plum LBW.
And the pull and the hook is
career there. Sorry,
no, all good, Pura. No, I was saying the pull and the hook is Zubair Hamza's bread and butter. That's his go-to shot. Those of you that are fans of the Western Province franchise, as much as I am, would know that. He definitely favors getting on the back
So
foot.
New Zealand have put out that square leg to the boundary, and another short ball's been bowled by Tim Southee. This time, Zubair doesn't bite. He just lets that go through to Tom Blundell for no run.
And Tim Southee is bowling in late 120s. So if that particular ball was around 140s, then it would have created a lot of trouble for Zubair Hamza. It's just speed matters.
And that's the one thing. If what I've noticed about this pitch is that it feels like it takes a lot of energy from the ball if you dig it in. As that other one, the last ball of that over, Tim Southee bowling that short ball and Zubair just letting it go through. So, for instance, Tim Southee the ball may be coming out at 130, but it feels as though the way in which this pitch is, it's not. I don't think it's hard. I think it's a little bit softish, and so the balls look loopy when you bowl it short. As they arrive to the batter, which is why I think Zubair just came through that one very quickly and managing to top edge it.
and also because of the overcast conditions, it will nip back a bit. So batsmen have to take that into account while like facing Tim Southee, who will like swing really late.
Yeah, so final ball of that over, Tim Southee bowling an in-swinger, Zubair Hamza coming forward with a for drive. He finds straight to extra cover for no run. End of that over, 17 overs gone in the South African innings. They are 43 for 4. Remember, South Africa were 4 for 3. And now they are 43 for 4. The day they started today, 34 for 3. They've only added 9 runs for the loss of 1 wicket. A Jaffa of a ball, a peach of a ball coming into Rassie van der Dussen, exposing the gap between bat and pad and taking Rassie's off stump. We've got 9 minutes in our session, gents. But obviously you can stay on if you'd like to stay on, because we've got Coach Dave, as well as Akona coming in. First sign of some balls coming from the heavens. Purav, Carl Jamieson is going to be bowling.
I don't like it. I think I watched the World Test Championship final, and as an Indian Australian guy, Kyle Jamieson was the bloke who just broke our hearts. So I still have trauma from like watching him. But having said that, he is a great find for New Zealand. And whenever he comes to ball, I just like to see him.
First ball in from Jamieson, and a lovely just a front foot push from Timber through the covers. De Grandhomme, the Southern Africans had to chase that one. It was De Grandhomme and Conway, all the way down to the boundary. But they've managed to bring that on in. The South Africans do run 3 off of that.
I read correctly. Jamison's got 61 test wickets at an average of 17. That's insane. That's incredible.
He started off well. Next ball from Jamieson to Zubair Hamza as he lets that one go through outside the off stump. He doesn't want to play at that one. Yeah, he started like a house on fire, and probably one of the reasons Matt Henry has been benched because of the lovely form that Carl Jamieson has been in his 17 test in his I think it's 17 test matches that he's played.
Insane.
Gents, 3 slips, a gully for Carl Jamieson coming in to Zubair Hamza, as this one rises off a good length, but a very wide. So Zubair does not want to have anything, does not want to be involved with that one as it goes through. We're seeing a couple of the members of the crowd in there. I'm sure we'll be hoping for a quick end to this game so they can resume their Saturday activities.
And I wonder what goes into the mind of a fast bowler when they have to tour Asian countries, like when they have to tour the Indian subcontinent. Do they think and say that I have a really good bowling average, but when it comes to Asian countries, I should not be judged upon?
I think that's what they do. That's what they say. But unless if you have a good record like Adele Steyn, then you can say, no, judge me on the subcontinental conditions, because I took 7 for 29, or what is it? 7 for 29 in Nagpur, which was pretty cool.
So do you think for a bowler to be successful in Indian subcontinent, one has to understand the art of reverse swing, like Dale Steyn or Alan Donald?
Jamieson into Hamza, he lets it go through for no run. I don't think so. I think you just need to be able to have so international cricket as a fast bowler, you need to have something. It's either you've got pace, right, which travels everywhere around the world, and I think in India can help, because then you're surprising the bat if you're bowling at about 150. But if you can swing the ball one way, that's enough, because then you can you can surprise the batter, and so. I do think you may need to learn the art of reverse swing if you can do that. But obviously with COVID, it makes it a little bit hard because you can't put saliva on the ball. And the next ball just goes past past Zubair Hamza. He shoulders arms to it. End of the over. 46 for 4. I'm so happy, guys. We've only taken 1 wicket. So that's a good thing for me, because yesterday New Zealand went on a run spree, and I think on day 1, Anis and I took like 4 for 20 in our morning session. So we are repaying.
We're doing much better.
Yeah, and
No, we're
then
doing much
Bonke
better.
on Facebook says it's time for CSA to give our youngsters a go and get rid of the oldies because they won't be there for long. For example, Alga, Bavuma, Rassi, Advia, these guys already reached their 30s. They should continue building on the guys like Keegan Peterson, Aiden, despite his off form, Ryan Rickleton, Tony DeZorzi, Renan Fantonda, Calvarena. Guys, Keegan Peterson and Aiden Markham are 29 years old at the end of this year. This one, short ball
Exactly.
out to Timber Bavuma, and he ducks underneath it from Matt Henry, from Tim Saudi.
Bavuma is in more form than the others.
Look, I'm not a fan of being ageist. I think just because you've turned 30 doesn't mean your sporting career must end.
No, absolutely not.
And everyone's always wanting to bring in the new youngsters.
No.
With the way sports medicine has gone, guys have played for long.
Absolutely.
We just watched Tom Brady retire in the NFL from 44, and the NFL can take hits there. Yeah, this one, a lot of fuller length ball just tailing away from Timber. He lets it go through to the keeper.
And LeBron is still going strong. Paul, he's what is he going to clock
37 years of age this year.
My
and
gosh.
he was going to win the scoring title in the NBA. He's on track to do that, which is the man who scored the most points in a season. And he's also in the MVP discussion.
Crazy. That's craziness.
And talking about cricket, Shoaib Malik and MS Dhoni are still going on.
Yes.
Chris Gayle as well.
And Mohammad Hafiz, I believe.
Square leg in the boundary has come in. Might get
forever young.
Oh, this ball from Tim Southee looked like it was going to be a short ball. It was the double bluff as the ball swung into Temba Bavuma. He let that go through without playing it, and it was very, very tight on that off stump.
This was an absolutely spot on test bowling. This is what you want to see when you watch test cricket.
So we've been talking a lot about the South African selection woes and quagmires. What is New Zealand going to do when Bolt comes back from paternity leave, inverted commas? Are they going to drop Miss Henry?
I think CDG might pull out.
Unfortunately, yes, there is no other way out. And they have also dropped. They had to drop Ajaz Patel after his 10-wicket haul. So
that's incredible.
This is how it works.
Yeah.
Well, New Zealand's Well, look, you're an injury replacement, so this is not an Usman Khawaja situation. You're an injury replacement. So, who would you rather have, Matt Henry or Trent Boult? That's
Henry. He's in form.
Southee into Temba. This one just goes through.
And Henry can bet a bit.
Well, he can definitely bet that much. You can see this.
I don't think you want Matt Henry for his batting. You want him for his bowling. And I think Trent Boult as a left-hander coming across to those right-handed South Africans could be a problem.
But these wild card players, I like to label them as wild cards. They come straight out of nowhere. They just surprise you. Like Scotty Boland from Australia. He just rocked up out of nowhere and kills the English opposition with a 5-wicket haul.
And the last ball of our spell, guys. Short to back of a length ball to Tembo, defends it out to the offside. End of our spell, end of the over. A 46 for 4 overs at the end of 19 overs. South Africa trailed by 341. Hamza on 6, Bavuma on 28. Thank you very much, Purav. Thank you very much, Ravi. See you on the other side. Ravi, do you want to stay on?
Yeah, fine. I've got time to kill.
Thanks, Purav. As add Dave to the stream. We're just waiting for Connor. When he comes back, we'll add him in. But I'll leave the two of you to take South Africa home. Well, home to the hotel.
Home to the hotel. So Ravs, I'm just a little bit behind. I've just seen the final delivery of the 19th there. But what have you thought so far of this test match as a South African fan? And then I'm going to ask you to put your Kiwi hat on after that.
I don't have a Kiwi hat, even though
Come
I've
on, create a
seen.
Kiwi hat. It's like putting a thinking cap on. Sometimes you can't
Although,
think it when you're one in the morning.
although I've seen Sportsman's Warehouse has got a yellow ticket sale on a number of All Black jerseys. I was tempted just to get one and
No, Ravi,
to
please.
actually buy, just to
Please,
get a
that's
couple
sacrilege.
autographs. Now I'm a Bok fan. Don't get me wrong, but if to have a second team, will have to be the All Black. Definitely. Oh dear. Did you see that, Dave? You saw
No,
them?
no, I'm behind. Yeah, I'm just
Okay,
behind.
so
So first
Jamison
ball
just picked up.
yeah, just first ball, and he's gauged, gone. Zubair Hamza. It's an outside edge. It's first ball of Jamison's over. He's gone for 6. South Africa's woes continue. It's 46 for 5. It was a standard length delivery. Just catches the outside edge. And a corner, I'm blaming you for taking that wicket.
Good day, guys. Good morning. Good evening to everyone.
Yeah, it was a simple
Good
take.
evening.
Simple take at right ankle. Mitchell takes the catch. Jamison the bowler. Zubair Hamza from 32 deliveries. He's gone for 6. South Africa 5 away from an innings defeat.
Yeah, looks like we're going to be the last shift here, gentlemen.
No man. No man. No man.
I look. Impok was right in saying I'm the optimist, the eternal optimist. I'd like to see these guys make the most of the opportunity for what they have right now, or what's left of the match.
Come on,
Let's get some runs on the board. Let's
isn't
just do
this,
something.
Isn't this a situation perfect for covering? You're a Western Province man. Come on, cometh the man, cometh the hour.
Absolutely. The other Western Province man is back in the hut now. But yeah, this is a fantastic opportunity for Kyle. I know there's been a huge call for Ryan Rickleton to get picked up. I mean, I've been picking up on Twitter particularly. And the reality is that if Kyle doesn't step up, we know that Ryan is also a wicketkeeper batsman. That's his forte. Could very well come in place of Kyle if he doesn't find form soon.
Averaging
this
just
might be it.
13 from his first 5 games is Kyle Verreynne. So still in the infancy of his Test career. But Ravi, is it such a foreign concept to believe that they can both play in the same team? I mean, they can both field without having to kick,
question.
and they don't even bat in the same position. You know, Ryan generally bats higher up in the order, whereas Kyle bats lower down. So certainly there's space, I believe, for the both of them.
Well, Dhoni and Karthik have done it for years. We've seen it with Wade and good old friend's name, Tim Payne.
Tim Payne, yeah.
The illustrious Australian captain went out on
ball
the
of Culver in his innings, and he just opens the blade and sends that out to point on the bound. But talk us through that delivery, Ravi. I mean,
looks like another one of those comes. No, so there's no foot movement, definitely not. And I think his batting coach, Hamza's batting coach at least, will certainly chastise him for that. What I have to say, though, if I think back to Rassi's dismissal, that was a beauty. There's nothing he could have done about that delivery. By coming back to Hamza, yeah, didn't move his feet much there. Perhaps played with the hard hands.
And out by Jamison. Defended manfully by Kyle Verreynne, and no run on offer there. So at least he's getting bats on ball. I think that'll give Kyle Verreynne a little bit of confidence to get leather on willow.
I think, guys, the greatest currency of South Africa now is time. All they have time in the world. From a South African point of view, I think South Africa needs to show some grit and fight. We already, from my point of view, already lost this game. Might as well get the time and get the phone for the next game. We play in the same ground. We still take some few pointers.
Kyle Jamison in again, passing the umpire. It's driven out in between those two men on the offside. So they're going to run one and think about a second. But de Grandhomme does the fielding. Good bit of work from him. And they just get 147 for 5.
The priority is just for this partnership, just the guys to form a good partnership. You know, go in increments of 10, go in increments of 20. whatever makes you feel comfortable, even if you want to go on a ball-by-ball basis. But the idea, and I agree with Akona, it's the real currency is time. You've got enough time to play your shots, get your eye in, and if it's a fair delivery, it's a good delivery. So be it. We saw that with Rassie. Rassie got the
Jamison to
beauty.
Bavuma, and it's just straight to this time on the pads, and he tries to work this onto the onside, but just finds the man at square leg and doesn't get anything for it.
Yeah, because I think the ambitions of winning this match, that's definitely out the window. But let's try and chop that deficit down. Let's see how far we can take this pony.
Yeah, and I think it's also something to be mindful of. New Zealand are unlikely to change their lineup going into the second test. And if you can put overs under their belt, make the bowlers work a little bit more, you stand a chance of pulling it back. This one just catches the outside half of the bat, but tamely because Temba Bavuma plays with soft hands. So 20 gone, 47 for 5. We just saw that overhead shot there, gentlemen, of the Hagley Oval. But what we also saw is the adjacent fields where guys are playing club cricket, and that's what you want to see is when multiple games of cricket. I think that's the game benefits from more people playing the game.
Definitely, it's a sort of a multi-purpose center where fields are spread everywhere, and everyone can have a crack at it. Speaking from a New Zealand point of view, also, we might be mindful they have been relentless in terms of their strict disciplines, batting, bowling, and fielding. They've shown South Africa the way. Point of view, point of reference, it's the second bowler, Rassie Kwat. There's no loose deliveries. They own point from ball one.
First ball of the next over, Sally to Calvarine just defends that one once again. So, gentlemen, let's cast our minds back to the start of this game. South Africa lost the toss, were put into bats and in difficult conditions, and they really just capitulated. And it's seemingly a trend. First test losses. Ravi, you pointed out in your previous stint that South Africa dropped the ball in the first game against India as well, but managed to show a bit of spine as we see Saudi in again to Verreynne. This time is a little bit of on a leg stump line, but just defended to the onside, no run. What do you think it is, gentlemen? And I'll kind of put it out to the floor. What do you think it is that South Africa, why is it that South Africa team, the first test is always just, a write-off?
Mm-hmm. Look, I think it's a number of factors here. We went in with 2 debutants to kick things off, and our get off jail free card, Quinton de Kock, is no longer there. And in all fairness, Quinny hasn't been around for, what is it? This is going to be 3 tests now.
Saudi into Verreynne just squeezes this ball outside the off stump between a point and gully, and so they'll get 1 for it. Verreynne on 2 now. South Africa 48 for 5.
And I will always refer to Quinny as a get out of jail free card, because if the top 5 don't click, he'll always chip in with a solid 30 or 40. At least that sort of gets us to a little bit more of a stable scenario for situation. So that's gone, which means you're more caps. Yeah, that's it exactly. So I think there's a multiplicity of things. It was definitely a selection of 2 debutants.
This one straying onto the pads of Temba Bavuma. He's able to get that away to the onside. A bit of cleanup work there for the other South African, Devon Conway. And just a little bit of away with a couple of deliveries here from Southie, and South Africa able to get some runs. Not horrendous, I don't think, this over, but certainly a shift.
Another thing, guys, you must be mindful of that. I listened to Mark Boucher's presser thing yesterday, where he spoke about where would you want to bet around the world. He said, probably bet in New Zealand, better betting friendly conditions than South Africa.
Wayward down the legs. Sorry, that last one was wayward down the leg side, and Bavuma leaves it alone.
Let's be honest here. So the South African Test series against India showed how difficult it is to betting the conditions. These are much better betting conditions. My point of view, I think we might question the personnel, but everyone has done badly in this match. So I think it's the way we start the test series from South African point of view. And I think the coaching needs to take some responsibility on that
Some
front.
hard looks. That last one was just Themba Bavuma pulling away, just not happy with maybe the chatter from the men in the slip cordon. So we'll just go again.
What is the policy around it?
Door.
Oh, is that you? Or?
No, I think it's just a notification thing.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
think there's somebody at his door at 10 to 1 in the morning. Saudi in again, and Bavuma just leaves this alone. 21 gone. South Africa have 50 on the board. It's 50 for 5.
No, it's a good point because you know the other factor we mentioned the shuffling. Sorry, we mentioned the selection. We mentioned the fact that Quinton de Kock's not there anymore, which is somewhat of a gap coming in at that number 6 spot. But the other thing is that the shuffling of Aiden Markram to 3, I wonder if that had a sort of a ripple effect or knock-on effect, if you will, in terms of the batting order as well. Was there a missed opportunity to potentially bring the likes of Ryan Rickleton in that setup, in the replacement of an out-of-form Aiden Markram, perhaps? I don't know. I'm open to debate on this. We got the time. We may as well debate on stuff like that.
So I can't disagree with you. There's picking a fight and there's picking a fight. I feel like Bill Laurie and Tony Gregg, arguing for the sake of arguing. It's that like Monty Python skit. Do you want to have an argument? I can't find fault with your point. So a number of slips now, 4 slips in place. This is off the back foot and just driven square of the wicket by Verreynne. It's 3 slips and 2 gullies. So there's clearly going to be a bit of shorter pitch stuff, I think, to try and force the error from Verreynne. New Zealand smell blood, certainly.
Definitely, these guys have been relentless. The backup bowlers have been supportive. No one has been off the rail. They've been beautiful to watch. Sadly to say from a South African point of view.
Disciplined with lines and lengths. And I think that has been the difference in terms of the performances here. Jameson in, and this strays onto the pads. He tries to push that onto the onside for Matt Henry to deal with, but he's up to the challenge and they don't get a single for it.
We've got some comments here on our YouTube channel here, gents.
Wonderful.
A plethora of comments. I'm going to read the last 3. So Jordan Makubu, I thought it was a huge mistake carrying Ervi for such a long time. He needed some action to be part of the team. All right. So I don't know if the ball...
We'll take the next one after this delivery. It's Verreynne who's facing up. It's a leg stump long hop, really, and he just pushes that out to the fine leg region, and they'll get 1 for it.
And we have Chris Teeves. The last time a test team was bowled out for under 100 in each innings was Zimbabwe in 2005. So our main focus is to avoid that. Is to avoid that ignominy.
Jeez, you can't be using such big words at 1 o'clock in the morning.
At this time of the morning, yeah, jeez.
If that is Kristen Del Bisco, no, please go back to sleep, young man. You can't be using such. That's a man who's young enough to be still awake at this hour and not having to wake up for this. In again comes Jameson, and it's left alone on a 5th stump line.
So, guys, tell me, what can South Africa take away from this test? Probably nothing.
Win the toss. Or game your catches. Take your catches. How many drop catches did we have in this match? Catches win matches. That's the first thing they teach you. I mean, Dave, you're a coach, right? That's the first thing you get taught, right?
Yes, above catches win matches. Catches win matches. It's such a overused parlance, but it really is such an important one. Jameson in again and defended by Bavuma on the front foot. So drop catches, you got to be better with that. What else would we be able to extract from it if we were the South African camp?
Probably learning from how New Zealand have played. They started on the front foot because we don't have a bad side, guys. Let's be honest here, because we just beaten the number 1 team in the world. It's just the way we start off. We always start on the back foot. And that, for me, is uncontrollable. For me, something that is not controllable is getting a beauty like Rassie van der Dussen did. So it's something, it's a mindset that I think maybe the coaching staff need to look at hard.
Bumper there from Jameson to wrap up the 22nd. Bavuma just leaves that alone over the top of his head. It's 22 gone, 51 for 5. Verena's on 3 from 9. Bavuma 30 from 55. Jameson's just finished his third, 1 for 5 from it.
You know, the sad part is we went with a batting intensive team. We went with the extra batsman for the side, dropping Keshav Maharaj, as we know. And the result did not ensue. The desired result did not ensue. So I think we have certainly got more questions to answer than anything. Was it a case of us giving the wickets away, or were these genuinely very good deliveries? If I think back again, I can't emphasize enough. If I think back to Rassie's dismissal earlier this morning, that was a beauty. We might need to do a cross section all the others.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult one. It's the Grim Reaper of this test match. It's Matt Henry. He's got 2 for 15 so far, and he's got 9 from the game. So South Africa don't want to see his face again. But alas, here he is. He's bowled 8 overs. Verreynne is now on 3 to face up to him. He goes right arm over the wicket and driven maybe a little bit positively from Verreynne. Looks for a single as well, but cut off in the field.
This guy, Matt Henry, has made his test debut in 2015 against England. And he's playing his 50th test match now in 2022. That just tells you about New Zealand, eh?
The depth.
I'll tell you a story about New Zealand. I don't know how old you gents are, but it sounds like
and again by Henry, just defended on the front foot. Come on, Ravi.
I'll tell you all the story about. I got you all of this one, right? So New Zealand 22 years ago had a lot of slow, medium pace bowlers. They only had 2 seamers in the team.
Jacob Oram, I think.
Yep, you had Craig McMillan as well that bowled a few. I would say some dibbly dobblers. Yeah. You had Nathan Astle as well that bowled a couple steak and kidney pies.
Henry in again, and this is just a back of a length and just defended onto the onside. Keep going.
Yeah, and I honestly, yeah, Scotty Cyrus definitely. Chris Harris was another one. He looked like one of the Pirates of the Caribbean. If you look very closely at him, but I remember Daryl Cullinan 22 years ago. He scored a massive 275. In fact, he broke the South African record at the time. And when I was watching him bat,
defends on the front foot, no run.
When I was watching him bat, it felt like he wasn't double stepping the bowlers. It was almost like he was triple stepping. He was like halfway down the wicket. And he carted the hell out of these bowlers. They were hits all over the park. YouTube, definitely check it out on YouTube. I'm sure that innings is very much there. If I find it, I'll definitely post it on our stream on YouTube as well. The link at least. I encourage everybody just to have a look.
Go follow Ravi on Twitter. Follow Ravi on Twitter. He'll share it with you. Henry in, and it's a back of a length delivery again. It's a similar type shot from Verreynne, just trying to maybe upset the rhythm of Matt Henry. I think that was something that was discussed on the home broadcast. They were talking about, how do you upset bowlers who are metronomically just outside their off stump on that line or on off stump on that length? You've got to ask that question. Last ball of the 23rd. It's a shorter delivery this time, and he just palms this out to the deep mid-wicket region where Conway does the fielding. So 23 gone, and it's 52 for 5.
What was the question?
Yeah, Connor, go.
What was the question then?
Yeah, I can't remember. I've gone blank. Ravi?
I think you said about how do you upset bowlers?
Yes, how do you upset? How do you upset
about it?
That was it. How do you upset the lines and lengths of a guy who's in a good rhythm? What do you do as a batter as drinks is taken?
My goodness, it is a tough one, but I'll probably go back to to the India series, where I watched who's this guy, Mohammad Shami, and the way Keegan Peterson handled him. There's nothing special he did, Keegan Peterson. He trusted his defense. He played them late, and good judgment of length, and he was decisive of his movement. Decisive of movement means going for the ball or not going for the ball, body movement. I think so, because you can't really do much, because it's not like a one-day game where you can down the track and stuff like that. 4-day, 5-day test match, test is key. I think you need to trust your defense and back wholeheartedly and play late.
So is it confidence or is it foot movement? Or is it
It's
both?
a bit of both. Because you need character also.
It's a difficult.
It's also shot selection as well. It's shot selection. You know, so for example, if the ball is seaming away, I mean, what was happening is that you had a guy like Markram that was just pushing at the ball, trying to angle it away. And I think, you know, it also comes down to the confidence aspect. I think Akona alluded to that as well. If you're still trying to find form, or if you struggling to find form, generally you're in the sort of the realm of uncertainty. You have no idea what to do. And often you find yourself doing uncharacteristic things, pushing at a couple balls, seeing what they might do for you. And unfortunately, that may result in dismissal, like we saw with Ramza right now. He didn't necessarily stick the bat out, but Dave, you quite rightfully pointed out, he didn't move his feet. So he wasn't sure whether to play it or not, or leave it.
The description you're looking for is foot in the toilet bowl.
Foot in the toilet bowl, right? So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's a tough one. And, you know, these conditions, the funny thing is that New Zealand stopped celebrating taking these wickets. You know, they do that obviously in the first innings, but you know, they know they got this in the bag. They don't seem intimidated by us anymore. That's gone out the window, and I think we've got a lot of work to do before we go into the next test.
Is it personnel or execution? And I'll leave that open-ended to anybody who wants that.
I think it's about who wants it the most, man. It's about who wants it the most. I agree with Akona from earlier. We do have a very good side. Personally, I think going in with two debutants, it's not a really smart thing to do when you're abroad. But obviously, there are circumstances beyond your control sometimes. You know, in Ngidi picking up a backspin as an example. But it's also about who wants it the most. You know, if you can't drop catches at this level and expect to win the match, that's never going to happen, right? So you need to have your entire game, from batting to bowling to the fielding department, all jacked up, ready to go. Unfortunately, the desire needs to be there. The desire to win needs to be there. Then if you can't go into a match shell-shocked before the first ball is bowled.
Yeah, first ball now after the drinks break. Jameson to Verena, who leaves this alone outside the off-stump. Gents, I feel like I'm underdressed. I mean, it's dress-up day 3 in New Zealand, and I feel like I'm not suitably dressed. I need to put like a mask on or like a fancy hat or something. I don't know. I'm just seeing all these people dressed up nicely.
The dress-up day?
Yes, dress-up day.
Oh.
Day 3 is dress-up day. That's why some guy had a huge sombrero earlier.
Across the board, or is that just
New
Zealand?
Just New Zealand, that they try to have like a day 3 dress up day, trying to lure people in for that, because normally day 3 is like your Saturday or your Sunday, so an opportunity for a bit of fun. This one is driven on the up from Calveren. It's a lovely shot. There's a bit of applause from Tim Southey. I don't think it's for Calveren's shot, but they'll get 2 for it and possibly a third, but no, it's just the 2.
Perhaps a sarcastic clap from Mr. Southey.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a lovely shot on the up. What a glorious shot. Deserved for, but the outfield didn't allow for it.
No, definitely not. I mean, I think New Zealand have prepared. Their tactics have been brilliant, going even as far as the landscaping side of things. But
it was 3. It was 3 in the end. So Verena moves to 7, and it's 5-5-5. in the first innings where we're 22 for 2, 33 for 3, 44 for 4, 55 for 5. We missed, I think, 66 for 6, if not 77 for 7. This one is just defended by Bavuma from Jameson. Nothing there for him. So 5-5-5.
Yeah. But coming back to dress up there, that's interesting, Dave. Because I noticed when I went to Lord's, it was almost 10 years ago. There were a couple Fred Flintstones in the audience. There was quite a few bananas and pajamas there. I mean, the people are quite expressive. I don't see the same sort of effect in South Africa. What do you think is the reason for that?
Bavuma will now face up from Jameson halfway through the 24th, and he leaves this one through to Blundell. No fuss there. I'd love to see a kind of dress up day or something. Maybe if they play, a game in October, a Halloween type theme, something spooky. I don't know. I think maybe for a one-day game or maybe I don't know. I would just love to see South Africans really come to the fore. I think the natural inclination of South African football fans at Bafana games is almost always dressed up day. So why not have a bit of fun? And I think who would be the best place is Jameson bowls to Bavuma, leaves this lone outside off, no fuss. Cape Town, New Year's Test, day 3.
Newlands. Yep.
Because I think certainly with the amount of beverages that is consumed at Newlands during a New Year's Test, why not?
No, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know why we seem to hold back quite a bit there. I mean, it's not by any means a demand. I mean, there are many countries throughout the world that wouldn't do it. You won't see that in in Pakistan necessarily. West Indies
again, Jameson. He just drops this one and runs and tries to run around the behemoth that's standing in the middle of the road. Manages to do so. 1 run for it. I'd love to see something where they say, okay, it's a theme, dress up theme.
It's a vibe.
Yeah, whatever,
Yeah. I know the Aussies love to do, there's that section where you got like 30 Richie Benos sitting.
They're actually like a group of guys that are called the Richies. Yeah. They've actually petitioned as well to change a day 3 days from now to Richie Day, the 22nd of February, which is also a Tuesday, so it's two all around. So they actually there was a petition that they put out, but those guys are great. They have the trumpeters that played the Channel 9 theme song. That's absolutely a vibe. That's a vibe. That's something I want to. I mean, we have the Hashimamla Army at one point.
We do. Oh, that's also true. Yeah, that's right.
I'd love to see something similar again. Oh, this one is a bit of a rip snorter. Temba Bavuma looked like he was happy to just leave that, but it came back in and caught him high on the bat.
He handled that quite well. I think we've got a corner back. Welcome.
Yes, guys. Thank you. Wi-Fi there.
Wobbled a corner. Keeping South Africa's captain on his toes.
No wicket that brought today now at this time.
Yeah, thankfully Henry in again and left alone, no fuss. So, Connor, what would you think would be a cool theme for South Africans to come dress up? We were talking about South Africans already do it in some sort of way with Hashim Amla's army back in the day, but Bafana fans know there's a group of fans that dress up accordingly. What would your theme be?
I think the St. George's Park band won't be a bad shout.
Not actually the worst idea ever. Matt Henry in again and left alone by Bavuma. St. George's, I think, would also be a proper enjoyment. The band going. That actually, yeah. I that's another good idea. Somebody write this down. Cricket South Africa. The cricket connoisseur is asking question for Mr. Reddy. On which day of this Test match would the Proteas have won if John Smuts was playing?
Oh, Johnny.
It's obviously an internal question. Henry Bavuma and defended no run.
So we got this. Oh, John. We've
Somebody
got this micro group. I'll explain. So we've got this group. I can't use profanities on live here, but we got this group where we do a bit of cricket banter, a bit of chat here and there, and quite often we talk about John Smart and why he should be in the team. And
Short
obviously,
and hooked up and over the fine leg region. It's 2 bounces. It's 4. What a run of what a opposition to the trend. 60 for 5. What a good hook stroke as well.
like he's like the ultimate 6 bowling option, and in my view, I think there's quite a few steak and kidney pies that get bowled by John Spots on occasion. But yeah, there's a huge advocacy for John Spots to be reinstated in the one-day outfit, I should say.
It was
But,
short,
He's past his prime.
short and hooked, very fun. This next one has Bavuma on his toes to defend square on the offside. 25 gone, 60 for 5. So is that like the John Smart's appreciation group to go with AB Muller's
Well-
Markram appreciation group? He's been quiet, AB Muller, about his friend there, Mr. Markram.
I don't know why he isn't me saying anything, AB. I don't know. He's probably focusing
What
on
is he
his
going to
golf.
say? Let's be honest. What is he going to say? Not a heck of a lot.
Now, he's been working on a short game, I believe, AB Muller. So I think he's spending a lot more time on the golf course and watching the cricket, I think.
So speaking of cricket, there's a club game that's going on outside the field. There's a slip in place and a backward point. There's also somebody out at Cow Corner in their game. And he just on the back foot driven this straight back past the bowler. And looks like they'll get 1 in the game adjacent. Oh,
Some brave
quite
people
few.
there. You see where they're standing. You see where they're sitting.
Yeah.
The fans at least.
Yeah, it's a youngsters game. There's somebody, he's just sitting on his bed at the non-strikers, and hopefully he doesn't get run out because he's not paying attention to what's going on. Keep your eye on the ball,
No.
lad.
People are actually putting their lawn chairs right in the middle of the ground. I mean,
It looks like the Lens Tech facility in South Africa, in Joburg, rather, 3 slips, 2 gullies, and a close-ish point, and that one's left alone. No run from the new over from Jameson. So they seem a little bit confident in the inability of those batters to really put them under pressure.
yeah. No, exactly. They don't think there's going to be a square cut or a pull shot coming their way. In fact, somebody's having a liquor picnic right in the middle of the ground. Look at it. That's what it's all about, I suppose.
Saturday
Last
cricket.
opportunity for rain.
Yeah. Verena's on 7 from 18. He faces this pie. I mean, it's not even a pie. It's a shocker from Carl Jameson. Wayward down the leg side. Nobody can play at it.
Look,
How good
I
is
think
Temba?
we'll all be drinking Jamesons after this.
We, I think a small amount of credit must be given to Temba Bavuma for how he's applied himself here. Again, Temba Bavuma, again, with
Applying
a
himself.
score that, applying himself. I mean, it's 35 from 65. The man seems to be under pressure perennially so. And he's done it again for South Africa. I say that it's the non-strikers, and I'll shut my mouth when he's on strike. That one's left alone. No, but they're through to the wicketkeeper. Now I'm going to keep quiet when he's on strike because I don't want to be the guy who jinxes him. I think Paul will send me a strongly worded email if I jinx him.
Temba has been one of the guys who've been informed in the past recent year. And I think it's quite close to facing the most balls by a South African batter in this innings, in both innings actually, because Hamza was faced 70 odd balls. So keep going.
JMO in again. This one swings a little bit, and to try and compensate for that, Verena tries to open the blade to hit it a lot squarer than you would traditionally expect with that type of delivery, but cut off in the field. 60 for 5.
Bavuma, a former Sachs pupil. So Sachs, quite a famous school in Cape Town. Quite a few former Proteas actually attended.
Why are you trying to claim him? He's a St. David's boy. Go away.
No,
away.
Jesus, what's St. David's? What do you guys? I mean, okay, let's be honest, right? So
JMO
King
in
Edward,
again. Jameson in again to Verena. Just defends this. Carry on, Ravi.
King Edward is like Kes has given us like I don't know 20,000 South African cricketers, right? Let Sachs have 1 or 2 guys. That's fine. I wait to say
be fair, I
Jones
think
College.
Grey College. I think Grey College has the most Proteas. Grey High, sorry, not Grey College. Grey College is comfortable. Grey High.
So
Grey High.
you're talking about Bloom
Yes.
or ECK? P.
No,
P.
PE.
Okay.
PE. Gqeberha.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
beautiful. How's that shot?
Yeah. Grey High. So Verena is facing for the last ball. Jameson in again. What a shot. Lovely shot. He just leans on the front foot, opens the blade, and this is going to run away. They're going to get 3 here as Conway does the cleanup work there in the deep. It's good running from those two, but I think you have to run really well if you're
The
going
Noble.
to put pressure. 63 for 5, and Ravi's calling
Yeah.
no ball before we've
It was
seen
stepped.
it.
The Noble.
He's super excited.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a run. It's an extra run for us. That's wonderful.
So that's so hold on. Can we just say that's a 4? I mean, does that mean we can now
It's
play
a 4.
jingle?
It's a 4. It's a 4.
Take away the-
Absolutely. I'll say that.
Carl
Rare
Jameson
mistake
overstepped
from
there.
Jameson.
I've been concerned with a number of no balls from the South Africans. We saw it from Kagiso Rabada, but we also saw it in the SAA series. So it seems to be a common trend. I'm not quite sure why. I mean, we saw, I think it was 9 from Clinton Steerman in one of those SAA innings. This one is just defended on the bounce. Great stop there by Henry Nicol in the gully, diving to his right. And that's the end of the 26th finally. Verena's on 10 from 23. Bavuma 35 from 66. Jameson 1 for 13 from his 5. And South Africa are 64 for 5. They trail 323.
Sort of interesting. Why do you think they went with Steerman instead of Sepamla?
I'll let Akono
Instead
answer
of
that one.
Sorry.
Why do you think South
Steerman?
Africa went with Steerman ahead of Sipamla?
I think probably because of the conditions. From what I've seen from our selectors, they don't tend to go with the guy who's on form. They tend to go with the guy who's been around the group longer. For instance, Cyril Evie has been there in the group for longer, but all of us know Ryan Rickelton has been the guy on form. And
Cut
also,
away. The
according to
first
Red-
ball of Matt Henry's over. That's going to race away to the boundary. It's a short and wide delivery. Verena is not going to miss out on that.
Great
And
shot.
he gets to 14. What a shot. It's a bit
Proudly
of a wayward
Western
delivery there.
Province. We'll take that. We'll take that shot.
Hey,
Yes.
he's wearing green
Point-
and gold. Leave him alone.
Point of reference, guys. Sorry, the points of reference there is also the guy like from the Knights, Ryan van Tonder. He was on form and he was never picked. So we tend to go with the guy who's longer in the squad, not the guy
And
who's
again, and
currently
this
on
one
form.
is nearly a similar type shot there. It's rather a square drive as Calvarena calls early for 2 and gets home safely in the end. You know who could feel hard done by, speaking of guys who had form? Ravi Neff, this is for you at Western Province. Andrew Patek. The guy deserved more. He certainly deserved more in the national squad. But you can see...
But this is a great player. Good player. Very, very good
see,
batsman.
There's Ravi, I'm sure you can see some of those guys with their fun shirts. They got Hawaiian shirts on in the crowd, enjoying it.
Yeah,
It
what
says,
so there was a sign there. I missed out on it. What did it
Rigor
say?
uses Bondi Sands. I'm not sure what that's about. That one is cut away
Okay.
again. Great stop, though, at backward point, and they'll just get 1 for it. What a brilliant piece of fielding there from Young, diving to his right
That
to
is
cut off what was the third boundary.
Some mild faux pas from your side there, Dave. I'm Ravi Reddy. Ravi Ne is comfortably sitting in
Sorry.
India watching this match.
Sorry.
The elder statesman, Ravi. Although,
I'm not-
if they are... Oh, that's a beaut. Oh, my word. Caress to the boundary. That's 4. Beautiful shot from Dave Bavuma.
Oh,
Yeah,
lovely.
just a lovely...
It might be our last over, guys.
Yeah, on the back foot there, and well, it's not the worst way to end the in the spell if we do say so ourselves. So just what
Not-
2 balls
not
remaining
jinxing,
in this over.
It's not jinxing there.
No, we're not jinxing anything. I don't know what you're on about.
We're
such
not
thing as a
jinxing
jinx.
anything.
No such thing as a jinx. Ask Tsepo or Mpo. There's no such thing as a jinx. They'll swear by it. But lovely shot from Ace. Just on the back foot and punched it away. It was a lovely shot there. 3 slips in place, but Doesn't matter when you play a shot like that. And there's a South African flag in the crowd, and it's not upside down. Celebration. Matt Henry, this one dies, and Bavuma tries to cut it. There's just one ball remaining in the 27th. Isn't it a frustrating
Quite a
thing as a
few-
South African
yeah.
when you see there's a South African flag in the crowd and then the blue is on the top, or somebody's put it upside down, or drives me mad.
Yeah. No, it's insane. Absolutely insane. But yeah, quite a few immigrants from South Africa living in New Zealand, living abroad in New Zealand.
Matt Henry to finish this one. It's onto the pads of Bavuma. He just works this onto the onside. So he'll get a single for it. 76 for 5. 27 overs gone. South Africa trail 311. And it's time to hand over to Mpho Motlane.
Cheers, Paul.
Paul, we can't hear you, mate.
Oh, thanks, guys. Ravi, are you staying on as we go through? Jameson into Temba Bavuma. This one down the leg side, 76 for 5. That'll be an easy single for him. He moves up to 72 to 41.
I'll stay on as long as I'm not holding up the queue for anybody else.
No. We love having you here, and it's been a while. And it's really lovely.
Been a long time
for this final day. We just Anis is supposed to be on, but I've got you to give us your.
I used to enjoy it. Yeah, I used to enjoy the New Zealand tours of Paul, the away tours at least.
Jameson, guys, Jameson's got 3 slips and 2 gullies to Kyle Verreynne. It tells you a lot. As this one swings in to Kyle, and he defends it off the front foot back to the bowler, no run.
No, I used to enjoy the New Zealand tours. You come home from the club and the cricket is on. It's the greatest thing ever. It's the greatest thing ever. You know, you try to get rid of that alcohol in your system with, a couple Samis and the Milo or whatever.
Look, it's
good lovely to watch the
preparation.
cricket for now.
It's good preparation for the our Australia outbound tour, as this one, another one, just Kyle Jameson getting it to tail in very nicely from that height of his to Verreynne, testing his off stump, and Kyle playing with a straighter bat than he's normally used to. Still pretty side on, but he's played that back to the bowler, no run. That's been my thing with Kyle Verreynne, is that he doesn't, when he comes forward, he's still very side on instead of opening up his body, bringing that front foot forward and playing down the line.
But I love the square cuts that he played. He's looking good.
Look, if you're going to bowl wide outside the off stump like Kyle Jameson's just done, Kyle Verreynne will cut you through a point. It's actually not a drive. It's more like it's a front foot cut, little front foot punch cut. Like you're slicing through bread. And he's done that really, really nicely with some, and it's rolled all the way to the boundary for 4. So that's a good over for South Africa right now. 81 for 5. Flag coming out now.
Beautiful.
In the crowd. Yes, we've got a fan. Finally, we've got someone there. Take that, Jacinda. You didn't want us in there. So, we started the day 34 for 3. South Africa lost 2 wickets. But they're currently on 81 for 5 as Jameson comes into Kyle. A little bit of in-swing into him. And Kyle plays this one down the leg side as it's on middle stump. They'll come through for 2. Score goes to 83 for 5. They've put down 49 runs so far for the loss of 2 wickets. Rassie van der Dissen's second ball, beauty from Matt Henry coming into him, taking off his off stump. And then the next wicket to fall was Zubair Hamza getting caught at slip of the bowling of Kyle Jameson. It does come from a great height. And currently right now you've got Kyle Verreynne, 23 not out, in a nice little counter-attacking innings. And he gets one that he edges over the slip cordon in the gap between the 3 slips and the 2 gullies. It was very wide and very full. And Kyle Verreynne, the Kyle I know, will go for one. And he did. And it is 4 runs. So that's South Africa currently now move up to 87 for 5 with one, at the end of that over. Verena 27 and Bavuma on 41. And it's been quite nice to see Kyle with a bit of a counter punch because he's struggled so
definitely.
far in international cricket. And I'm really happy for him.
It hasn't been the best of starts for Kyle Verena, definitely not. But we alluded to earlier, this is an opportunity for the entire batting order to make use of the time that they have.
It's an opportunity for somebody to go back into the dressing room and just be like, shh, don't tell me anything.
Yeah.
You guys couldn't score runs.
I did. Yeah. It's about breathing in and taking your opportunity. You're in day 3. Play it on a session-by-session basis and see what becomes.
High score as Neil Wagner starts his spell of the innings. First ball of the innings, he's bowling left arm over to the right-hander Temba Bavuma, 3 slips and a gully. Temba defends it out to the side, no run. This is currently Kyle's highest score in international cricket. 5 matches so far, 105 runs in his career, 27 not out against New Zealand. We'll be hoping that he increases that as he goes along. Wagner into Temba. Down the leg side, he's burgled. No, he's not. It was caught by Tom Blundell. He thought there was an edge. Will they go upstairs? Tom Latham, you've got 3 reviews. What are you going to do? He is going to go upstairs. So
he will go upstairs. No doubt about that.
We shall see what Tom Blundell was hearing behind the stumps. I think it may have gone off the thigh pad, but you've got the 3 reviews, Ravi. South Africa's top scoring batter. You have a chance to get him out. You might as well go for it.
Go for it. Well, they're 5 down in any event. I think regardless, even if there was Verena that they would still have gone upstairs. Because you can only keep the act up so long.
As we see Ultra Edge going past there is something.
Oh dear.
There is a small spike. There's gap between the bat and the ball there. There's gap between the bat and the ball.
Umpire.
That's not
the umpiring's been good.
Rock and roll it, umpire. Keep going. This is the
umpire.
The captain of the Temba Bavuma fan
club.
Do the right thing, umpire. You, Mr. Third Umpire. Rock and roll. Keep going.
Do the right thing. That sounds like the iPad right there. Do the right thing. I'm gonna spike.
Oh no!
Please tell me it's iPad.
Not out. Umpire says not out. Ooh, good.
Thank the Lord.
So there was a small little spike. Let's describe it to our listeners. A small little spike on there, but it wasn't a normal spike that you would get from an edge or even a faint edge. It's normally a faint edge. Normally like the heartbeat that you get on Grey's Anatomy. This was just like as though somebody had died.
Like a micro, yeah.
So 3 slips, a gully, and the back pointed him. Oh, this ball coming back in, and it's hit him on the pad. They appeal, and Neil Wagner gets the wicket. Temba got a peach of a ball that was tailing back in, and he is going to review, thinking that it's hit him, that he's got a bit of bat onto that. But what a ball, Ravi!
I'm actually delayed by about 30 seconds in post. I'll probably see it momentarily.
No,
yeah, it's gonna come. Oh boy, yeah, I can only anticipate that he got some bat on that ball. There's no ways he's reviewing it.
In a lot, and hit him on the back.
I don't think it's missing. It's not missing, but I think it's gonna.
It's plum if he missed it. It's plum if he missed it. He needs to hope that he's edged it.
I don't know, looking dubious, but Temba is generally very competent with his reviews.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just see what.
This is a guy who walked thinking he had edged a ball that he didn't. So
that's a good point. Against Pakistan. Oh yeah, no, I forgot about that.
On like 85.
And he was looking.
Let's look.
Yeah,
Let's
he's
look. Let's
covered.
look. Ultra Edge. Nothing on Ultra Edge, unfortunately for the South Africans. He is probably going to be plumb out as that ball hits him on that back foot. What a ball from Neil Wagner.
You think he
Insane
was hoping
ball.
for a no ball, maybe? You think he was hoping for that?
Oh, snap. Umpire's call on height, but because he's been given out, Timber has to walk. And
Has to walk.
in some sick consolation prize, South Africa still retain their review. But the sixth wicket has fallen. Bavuma,
But we lose our
41.
best batsman.
Yes, a peach of a ball. Peach of a ball that swung in leftways. And really good bowling from Neil Wagner. 3 balls in. And Ravi, it's a tale of two bowling attacks. This is Wagner's third ball in the innings, in the 28th over of the match. And he's on point.
He's been brilliant. He's been absolutely brilliant. They can't do a thing wrong, Mpo, this New Zealand team. Literally, you got Wagner coming in on the third ball, getting a key wicket. You got a guy like Matt Henry who comes back after a lengthy absence and gets 7 wickets in his bowling spells and scores a 50 in the same match. These guys can't do a single thing wrong. You know, I don't know what they're going to do for the next match in terms of selections. But probably Bolt will come in. Bolt will come in for, I'm guessing, the Grandom for the next match. But really, none of these guys, to say that any of them has done a specifically poor job, it's quite difficult to sort of quantify that.
And yeah, so South Africa lose their 3rd wicket of the day. Stop. Beautiful. Oh, man. Think about this. That ball pitched on middle and swung in.
It's been crazy. But I've been saying this for a while. New Zealand's got one of the most incredible bowling attacks. And they've been bowling as a unit for a long, long time. So Wagner with I think that's his 237th Test wicket. To pick up the likes of Timber Bavuma doesn't surprise me one bit. He's a brilliant
brings
bowler.
In the world's tallest number 8. That is Marco Jansen, right-handed bat. Left arm over Neil Wagner with 3 slips, a gully, and a short leg now. Daryl Mitchell's thought short leg, and Wagner was searching for that one that got Timber Bavuma. He induced a drive from Jansen and squirted down to the leg side. Marco's off the mark with a single, 88 for 6.
I thought Marco was going to be swinging. I mean, 87 for 6. What hope do we have? I'm sure Kyle is also going to go and play his shots very soon.
No,
our backs against the wall.
Think about this: an opportunity for these two to cement. If Jansen can get you a 30, Kyle can get you to a 50. There's hope. You know, Jansen can be the new all-rounder for South Africa, and Kyle can be the fighting wicketkeeper batsman that we wanted Mark Boucher to be. This one swinging outside the off stump, inside edge onto the back foot. It was squared out to the offside. No run there. What an over from Neil Wagner.
You're starting to sound like an eternal optimist. You're sounding like an optimist right now.
Look, deep down inside, I want us to take these next 4 wickets in the next 26 minutes. So we can
Yeah. It's painful to watch.
That's me. Deep down inside. That's what I want. Also, I don't want an extended. Yeah.
But you're right to
Kyle Verreynne, and he drives this ball that started on off stump and didn't tell him much through the covers. It will go to extra cover. Will Young chasing that one. 3 runs from the South Africans. Kyle Verreynne, first time in international cricket. Welcome to the 30s, my man. He's on 30 of 33. Jansen 1 of 1. South Africa 91 for 6 after 29 overs.
Do you think he'll finish off on 133 by the end of today's play?
That would mean we've gone through the entire roster of guys. And so, today, that would mean that we'll be playing cricket at 6 a.m. tomorrow.
anything can happen, anything can happen.
Yes,
And
that's
I
the,
think
that's the
it's
beauty
important
of
for you
sport.
guys to play the shots. Yeah,
It's the beauty
yeah.
of sport. But oh my word, South Africa really
No, but
put
really,
themselves at the wall.
New Zealand haven't done anything wrong in this match. Seriously, it's like
Mm.
everything they touch turns into gold. Things are just working out. The plan is coming to fruition. We
The
seem to
funny
have been
part about
scrambling
Bob
from day
Marley's
one.
press conference yesterday, he said, no, they had the plans. They were great. We just didn't implement them. I was like, oh, wow. Okay.
No.
What do I do with that? But it was just so sad when he was like, no, we had plans. But we never
So, so,
executed.
so, so I'm looking at the scorecard now, right? Let's go back to the first innings. Do you think that 95 is an accurate reflection on how the team actually batted? So, in other words, were there sort of dismissals that were sort of gift wrap for New Zealand? Or were they legitimately really good deliveries? So that 95 is justified in
No,
a
the
manner of
95
speaking.
is, I'll tell you this. Tim Southey back into attack first ball, getting Calverain's edge, rolls out to the man at point, no run. He's got three slips, a gully, and a point. No, it was justified because South Africa were playing balls outside off stump that they should have been leaving. There was a lack of patience. And so that 95 was deserved. This one tailing into the off stump of Calverain, he plays that back to the bowler, no run. Look, New Zealand bowled well, but they didn't bowl like lights out. It just was South Africa, similar to India in when they were here, just edging everything that was outside off stump like they've never seen a ball swing
Never done. That's
in their
it.
lives before. But today there were some really good balls today to dismiss bowlers, to dismiss our batters. This ball from Tim Southey, just a loopy fuller one outside the off stump, driven by Verena for no run. And this is Carl's biggest struggle, is that any ball outside the off stump, he wants to play. He feels like he needs to play, but he doesn't need to play all the balls outside.
Doesn't need to play all the shot. That's it. Yep.
Yes.
That's exactly
and every
it.
ball outside the off stump, he's gotten bat onto it. But in South Africa, that's where Carl's bread and butter is. Even in limited overs, he played those balls. Another one outside the off stump that he could have left. It was dying as it got to him. He played with a flat batted, a horizontal shot out to the fielder at point 4, no run. But on the other hand, Ravi, South Africa bowled really poorly. So I wouldn't say it's like a 482 pitch.
No, that was ridiculous. Yeah. No, we also dropped how many catches?
7.
About 7.
7 catches.
At this level, you drop
Verena, and as I've said, you don't have to play everything. Verena edges this one to the third slip. Great catch from Colin de Grandhomme. Harare, stand up. Your boy has taken a catch. It is 91 for 7. Carl Verena's high score innings in international cricket ends at 30 of 38. Another man who could have left a ball outside the off stump. Carl Verena does not know his off stump is. He's just pushing at everything. And Tim Southey gets his third wicket.
Yep, gift wrapped it again. But the reality is that, at 6 wickets down, they can't really save the match. They have to play their shots.
No,
but you're quite right.
But
a terrible shot.
The problem for me is this is an opportunity for guys who are struggling to get some much needed game time and in the middle. And for Carl, it's a wasted opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. No, there was a wasted opportunity because I was hoping that Kyle and Zubair would make the most of it, actually form their own partnership and actually do something with the time that they've got left.
Because the thing is, if you watch the way Temba batted, if you watch the way Temba batted, Temba was leaving the ball outside the off stump. He was leaving well. He was allowing the bowlers to bowl into him and get the runs. Yes, there were some streaky fours, and it took a very good ball to get him out. Even with Rassie late last night, he was leaving well. He was playing. Yes, that ball was a good one to take him out, but that's what it is. Force the bowler to bowl well. It brings in the Soweto Lara now, Kagiso Rabada, to face one ball from Tim Southey, left-handed Kagiso Rabada, Tim right arm over 3 slips and a gully. This one would be a great ball to a right-hander as it hits Kagiso on the pads going down the leg side for no run. 91 for 7. 20 minutes to go to lunch. New Zealand need 3 more wickets.
How are we going to survive?
And they do it.
What's the ruling around lunch, Shimpo? So, for example, if you are like 8 down, does the captain of the opposition in this case, would they have the option of actually carrying over the play? The umpire would say that.
Yes. So if they see that a result is in sight, so it's normally if you're 9 down, they'll extend the session.
But they're almost there, man. they can veto lunch. They say, guys, no, we'll focus on tea. It's fine.
It's Steelman and Olivier left. So that's going to be because Kagiso's number 9 here. So it's Steelman and Olivier left. Wagner into Janssen. Full on his pads, swinging in. It's probably going down leg. Wagner says, no, it should be out. The umpire says, no, it is not out. I don't think they're reviewing because Wagner is walking very briskly back to his mark. Yes, it was the hit outside of leg. You can see all 3 stumps.
Very ambitious call there.
But he's getting it to
But lost opportunity. Missed opportunity for Kyle Verreynne. I just saw a replay of his dismissal. Oh, wow.
Oh, another ball outside. This one's outside the off-stump lot. Fuller driven down to the fielder at mid-on. No run. New Zealand just digging deep in their bag of tricks and South Africa having no answer.
So the question is, what does South Africa do for the next test in terms of selection? Do you think they got it wrong on selection specifically?
I think they got the selection right. I just think that the batters need to apply themselves. I'd like chosen one to be dropped. That's Eden Markham for Ryan. Short ball outside off stump. Mark Jansen drops his hands and it goes through to Tom Blundell for no run. 91 for 7.
So it's the chosen one.
And Boucher admits that he's having a bad run of form, but the way he mentioned it, it was kind of like we're still going to stick with him. So I know South Africa, we stick with our people. So I don't think chosen one will be dropped.
You got us 2 test wickets. You got 2 lekker test wickets. He did the job with the ball.
Hey, look, if you drop him, everyone's going to be like, then who's going to bowl the spin? Wagner into Janssen, and it's a back of a length ball rising past Janssen on the off stump, and he played it that one on the back foot, got no edge, and that kind of tells you the level of batting that Marco Janssen is at right now. And it goes out to Tom Blundell for no run. I think I wish we could have had Duan to bat. Is it possible, Ravi, because obviously they're twins, that Duan bats for South Africa and Marco bowls for South Africa?
Well, that's the thing. Is all-rounder, the all-rounder label, is that something that was just ambitiously thrown in there? Or is he just a guy that's no mug with the bat necessarily? But he can be really classified as all-rounder.
He's no mug with the bat. I don't think he scored a first-class century. I think he may have a first-class 50. I'll check that for everybody. But I think because of the way he batted against India in those tough conditions, everyone thought he has the look. He's batted better than Vian Mulder has in his South African career. That I can tell you. High score in South Africa. Oh, beautiful straight drive from Marco Janssen. It was overpitched by Neil Wagner. It won't go all the way as our Zimbabwean man there, Colin de Grandon, picked up that ball.
You kind of answered that question there.
Run through for 2. Not a good, no, well, it's a beautiful on drive. His high score in first class cricket is 87, right?
Okay.
He scored 5 first-class 50s. So he can be, he's not going to be like a Sean Pollock. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
But
It'd be cool if he was.
It would be, because Sean scored hundreds. Sean at 7 and 8 scored 100. He's not Lance Klusner, but he's like a poor man's version of the two of them. You can get some runs from him as Saudi starts his new over to the Soweto Laurel. Rabada gets a full one outside of stump. Kagiso drives at that one inside edge out to.
I will be a happy man if we see him play that back foot cover drive, that famous Brian Lara like back foot cover drive that Rabada plays. Love watching it.
So here's the thing: Tim Saudi in that last wicket got to 200 wickets in Test matches in New Zealand. He's one away from tying Sir Richard Hadley for the most wickets in New Zealand. As the next ball is swinging into the left-handed Rabada, and he gets another inside edge onto the pads, trying to get the ball through the covers there for no run. Look, there's something for Marco Jansen. There's something to play for. Yes, Chris Teeb says here, could be a Vern or a little bit better. I think Vern's a better batter than Marco. But Definitely. He's in that Vern realm. Vern gave us those runs at number 7 for about a decade. Because Vern never scored 100 in international cricket. Saudi into Kagiso, who drives on the up to the wideish mid-off. Matt Henry there, but it bounces just in front of him for no run. So Saudi's taken 333 wickets, everybody. He's taken 200 of those in New Zealand. One away from tying Sir Richard Hadley for the record of most wickets taken in New Zealand. Really lovely record that would be, because that would elevate Tim Saudi probably to New Zealand's greatest ever fast bowler. Saudi into Kagiso. This one is a beautiful ball outside the off stump. He sits on the back foot, does Kagiso, and just leaves his bat out there. And no edge, but a beautiful ball from Tim Saudi nonetheless. Maran, we've got 13 minutes,
some time,
13 minutes to go to lunch, New Zealand. Please. Let's close this out.
Let them survive lunch.
Listen, guys, imagine needing to wake up at 3 a.m. to commentate on a game to take 3 wickets. It'll be just brutal.
New Zealand, in fairness to them, they do it all the time with us.
Saudi into Kagiso. He drives this one on the up, and it bounces just in front of Matt Henry. So the previous ball bounced low in front of Matt Henry. This one looped a little bit in the air, and Matt Henry just having to get his body behind the ball and just ride the bounce. But Kagiso lives to see another day. I see a wicket in his future very soon by the way Kagiso's playing. It feels as though he doesn't necessarily have any milestones he wants to get to.
Oh, yeah. No.
And he drives.
KG's going to be playing shots.
He will.
KG's going to be playing shots.
And it's stopped by Matt Henry at that wideish mid-off. End of that over, 93 for 7. South Africa still trailed by 294. Rabada on a duck for 7 off the 7 balls, and Jansen 3 off 7 balls. Tim Saudi, the pick of the New Zealand bowlers, with 3 for 30. As we see fans in the stands drinking beer out of small cups. How we miss that.
You think we're going to get a shot this year? Do you think you're going to get our games back in, or fan attendance back in games?
Yeah, I think middle of the year Bangladesh series could be one. We've gotten fans in the stands already at the CSA T20 in Tobeka.
Yeah.
Marco Jansen nearly decapitating the umpire as Wagner bowls an overpitched ball. He drove that so straight that the umpire had to roll out the way from an impending ball. But in that, Neil Wagner got a hand onto that ball to kind of take the sting out of it. But the umpire was not taking any chances. Really good reflexes to just check that he's also watching the game.
Oh, they killed
Next
it.
ball in is full outside the off stump and driven in between that gap between third slip and gully all the way to the boundary for 4. South Africa's total goes up to 97. We have now passed our first inning score, ladies and gentlemen, with 7 wickets down. As Mark, so looking at the umpire, it's 97 for 7 as Jansen goes up to 7. Chris Deep says Hadley will always be New Zealand's greatest seamer. He got those 201 New Zealand wickets in 75 innings compared to 90 innings from Tim Southee. Wagner into Marco Jansen is very wide when Marco choosing not to play at that one. So Southee got to 200 in 90 innings, 15 fifers from Hadley compared to 7 from Southee. Hadley's average of 23, Southee's of 27, and Chris, after that stat pack, I concede. Hadley will always be the greatest ever seamer. Thank you, our stats man.
At least we'll make 100.
At least we'll make 100.
Oh, touch wood.
Speak soon, because I think in the first innings, Kagiso was out for a duck, Steelman was out for a duck, and it was all she wrote at the end of that. So, another ball outside the off stump, enticing Jansen to drive. He drives inside of it as the ball goes on with the arm to Tom Blundell for no run. 9 minutes to lunch, everybody. New Zealand just need probably get another wicket and we'll get an extra 30 minutes. Unless the umpires think that
I think they'll have another crack. I think the New Zealand will be given another crack at us. They're going to veto lunch, I think.
We hope they do, because I don't want people to wake up at 3 a.m. to see the horror show that's happening.
Yeah.
And the edge has been induced of Marco Jansen's bat, but this one it bounces just in front of Tim Southee at third slip. It was a lot straighter this time, and Marco Jansen coming forward to defend at that one. No run. And that's what we love. That's what I like about Jansen, is that he has it in him to be a competent batsman. It's just obviously the will and the desire to work on your batting. He's not afraid of the ball, being as tall as he is. Wagner into Jansen, short ball, and he ducks underneath it to end that over. 97 for 7. South Africa trailed by 290. Rabada yet to score. Jansen on 7. South Africa just watching and waiting for the game, because this has been a horrible 2.5 days of cricket, especially after spending 10 days in quarantine. To come out and play like this is very disappointing.
Absolutely disappointing for the fans, but more so for the players. There must be some disgruntlement, some irritation for the guys that haven't been picked as yet to represent the country. But generally, there must be some irritation as well for you carrying drinks for the greater part of a year, possibly 2 years. You want to see some return on investment, and unfortunately, Ryan Rickelton hasn't seen that as yet. And in fairness to him, he's only been part of
the next one ball out is a wicket from Tim Southee. Kagiso Rabada was caught. Tim coming around the wicket. He drove this one, got a bit of a inside half of the bat straight to Kyle Jamieson, who had to come all the way down to get a really lovely catch there. And Tim Southee is now tied with Sir Richard Hadley on 201 wickets in New Zealand. Kagiso, knowing the rules like you, Ravi, that the umpires need to carry through, continue through lunch. South Africa 97 for 8 as Clinton Steelman comes in for his second innings to bat. Hopefully he'll get a run. Chris has asked, how many squads has Rickelton been a part of? So Ryan Rickelton was in the T20 team that went to Pakistan, and he didn't play.
Yes.
He then didn't get a lot of time. He didn't go to the West Indies. He didn't play after that. He then played for the Proteas in this India series, and it's now this
Yeah.
one. So it's been 3. And that Pakistan one was ridiculous because they even dropped Jacques Neyman got like 2 in one game. And then he didn't play again in that entire series as an opener. Vian Libra also was treated this poorly. So it was a weird Pakistan series.
Weird situation.
And really disappointing. But
Yep.
yeah. So this is like his second tour with the Proteas and Whites.
Yep. The second tour, and it must be frustrating for them. But I think we must just bear in mind, Mpo, that Keegan Peterson sat on the bleachers for quite a while. He sat there, carried drinks. I remember seeing his orange whips.
First ball to Steeman, defended out to the offside, no run. And that's the thing. But Ravi, every time Ryan Rickelton joined the South African squad with a domestic average of 93 this year. He obviously the India series ended. They played a few more games, 4-day series games. He rejoins the South African squad with an average of 118.
Sure.
Now, if that doesn't scream red hot form, I don't know what else does. As Saudi balls one outside the off stump to Clinton Steeman, he cuts that into the ground, and it's caught at galley, no run.
You think there's a likelihood he'll play? He'll play in the series, Rickelton?
I don't think so. I think they'll roll out the same team because the problem about having being beaten this badly doesn't mean your team selection is off. It just means that whatever you had planned didn't work. So the personnel might just be given another chance to rectify it. As Clinton Steeman faces up to Tim Southee, straight and full, and he gets a beach of a ball that squares him up and goes to Tom Blundell. Steeman knew nothing about it. All he knows is to get in line, which I'm very proud of him for doing. But that ball was too good for him. That ball gets an opener out. That's how good it was. Look, because I'd rather have us lost this game naturally. Then you can say, okay, no, so-and-so not performing, and so-and-so. This doesn't tell me anything. They're all batted poorly. They're all bowled poorly.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, to pick somebody and be like, you are the worst of the lot, just is a little bit bad. As Clinton Steeman finally gets his first runs in international cricket, he was sitting on a pair, which Kagiso was also sitting on a pair, and he still is. And he goes to the other end for a single, defending his off stump with his life, 98 for 8. Yeah. Okay.
This is. I was hoping we would have 100. We're sitting with 100 for 4 by about now. That ship sailed. That ship sailed.
Normally South Africa is a second innings team, so you expect them to score a few more runs in the second innings, around about 250. I thought that's what we'd get to, and we'd lose by an innings and 150 runs, whatever it is. But this has been something of a nightmare. And first, Jansen getting a ball from Southee outside the off stump, and Southee, the ball just goes past to Blundell for no run. One more over until lunch, it seems, unless the umpires think that New Zealand can close this game out in 30 minutes.
Yeah, I think they're going to opt for that, the latter, definitely. I've probably to be wrong, though.
Yeah, so the South Africans
got to feel for the New Zealand crowd, though. You got to feel for them.
They'll get their weekend, dude. It's fine. So South Africa's scorecard makes some very poor reading. Avia duck, Elder duck, Markram 2, Van der Dussen 9, Bavuma 41, Hamza 6, Verena 30, Jansen 7, not out, Rabada out is a duck, and Steelman 1. That's just a very poor.
That's shocking. Absolutely shocking. It's my goodness. Look there.
Wagner into Clinton Steeman, left arm over to the right-handed batters, wide outside the off-stump. Steeman driving that one into the ground, and it pops up to Wagner, who walks back to his mark as quickly as possible. No run. This is one of the most embarrassing defeats South Africa have endured from the highs of the Indian tour to this is just unbelievable, unfathomable. I thought this team would be competitive. Wagner getting the ball to tail into Steelman's off stump. He defends that really nicely. He bounces in the popping crease and pops out for no run.
No, it's I think we're expecting too much from our tail enders effectively. I know there are a lot of individuals I'll say, but Dwayne is the all-rounder as we've established at the beginning. But they are all-rounders and they are guys that can bat a bit. Those are two different things.
Slip Scully and the backward point. Steelman drives this one, throws his hands at everything. This ball is wide outside the off stump. It went over the slip cordon and will race away for 4. South Africa finally break the 3-figure mark in this test match. It's 102 for 8.
Beautiful. Now it's just a matter of getting the other 280-odd runs.
Oh, that was a shot that Glenton Steelman will probably be replaying in his mind tonight. It wasn't the best of ones, but it resulted in his first boundary in international cricket. So we are very happy for Glenton. Another one outside the off stump. He plays at that one. He doesn't connect with it, and it goes to Blundell for no run.
So we've obviously got 2 South Africans in the New Zealand setup right now. You've got Wagner, and you've also got Conway, right?
Yes, my housemate.
Your housemate from high school? Yeah, absolutely.
You're underneath, you're below me. Really
no, absolutely.
Oh.
Is it fair to say that there's a massive brain drain as far as cricketing talent from South Africa is concerned?
Steelman thinking of playing at that one. He plays inside it. Goes to Blundell for no run. I don't think so, because I think Conway left because he couldn't get it right in South African domestic cricket of his own fault. And so he went to New Zealand. He went to the UK to try play cricket there, to try regain some form and come back to SA. And the opportunity to go to New Zealand came up. He took it with both hands, and he's proved. It seems like batting in New Zealand for him works. Short ball from Wagner. Steelman rides the bounce, and it goes out to the fielder point for no run. The players don't seem like they'll be taking lunch, so we're continuing, Ravi, until this thing.
The 8-figure son.
You could consider that there is a brain drain that's happening, but so my problem is a lot of the people who are leaving are people who haven't proven themselves in South Africa. It's not somebody who, like Ryan Rickleton, averages 80, 118 and is walking out in South Africa. You know, and a lot of the things, guys feel like they're entitled to be in the side. And I'll use the David Bedingham example. You know, yes, he left South Africa while he was averaging in the high 50s. And it was a surprise when he left to everybody. And at the time, the South African batting order was pretty much cemented. Saudi into Janssen defended out to the offside, no run. And then he comes back to South Africa this year after 3 years in the wilderness. And everyone just expects these cold packs to walk in. And unlike, so the difference is Duan Olivier did walk into the team because he broke all the records that we've ever seen in domestic cricket. And Simon Harmer too. They were the 2 top wicket takers in the domestic season. You could see that gulf in class. Whereas David Bedingham only started scoring runs properly this season during the India series when he scored that 190 odd for Western Province, and his average then moved up to 50. And then everyone's expecting Victor Pitang to be on the phone to him to talk to him. And when Victor called him, David Bedingham told him that he's going to Durham. So there's a little bit of an entitlement where guys are wanting to be called straight after cold pack and everything else. And the guys who are leaving,
the guys just rock up after a season. I agree.
No, he could have if he scored 500 runs in the first 5 games of the season.
Yeah.
He'd be in the side.
Yeah.
Southey into Janssen. This
Yeah.
one's outside the off stump, a little bit of an away swinger. He lets that go through to the keeper and a run. And so for me,
that's against the reality is that the Proteas team effectively we would have moved on since the bulk of the callback left, right? So that includes Kyle Abbott, that includes Luce Deploy. Well, not Luce Deploy, but you get the picture. So
yes,
Kyle, Deputy Riley,
all those guys, Riley,
all those dudes, But we moved on. It's not like we sat there saying they will come back, and we pined for them to come back. We said no. We got a talent pool. We got a sufficient one. Yeah.
Southey bowling a short ball to Marco Jansen. He ducks underneath it, no run, and I'm okay. And so the thing for me has always been, if you score the runs, the selectors will phone you. Selectors are not going to phone you what is the selector going to tell you at the beginning of the season? Oh no, if you score runs, you'll make the side. So that was just the baffling thing where everyone on Twitter was going crazy saying, no, Victor should have called at the beginning of the season. For what? And then the best argument was, no, because he bats so well in England, he should go to the England tour, even though in South Africa, he's not one of the best batters there. So that was the other one. Wide ball outside the off stump. Jansen letting that go through for no run. Chris Teep says, the Conway playing for New Zealand is a different Conway to the one who was playing domestic cricket. And so many of these players leave before 18 and fans still see them as the one that got away. Yeah, it is. And right now, I tell you now, they're going to be blaming CSA for the fact that South Africa lost this badly. Watch.
Yeah.
What a beautiful ball from Tim Southey outside the off stump. All Mark Jansen could do is just leave his bat out there and hope that it doesn't get a nick, and it didn't get a nick. The only problem is that behind him, it could have also taken the off stump. That's how good that ball was. But no drama there. End of that over 102 for 8. After 36 overs, New Zealand needing 2 wickets in this extended lunch session. If you joined us, South Africa started on 34 for 3. They've lost 5 wickets. Rassie van der Dussen, second bowler. Zubair Hamza getting caught at slip off the bowling of Carl Jamieson. Bavuma getting LBW. Carl Verreynne getting caught at third slip. Kagiso Rabada getting caught at mid-on. And now Glenton Steedman is in on 5 with Marco Jansen on 7 as Steedman wears the first ball from Neil Wagner. He rides the bounce and goes out to no run.
So for the audience that's there at the Oval, there is club cricket happening next door. So when the match does come to a conclusion, just jump across the road. And at least the guys will be playing well until it's dark. So at least you'll get some cricket action today. But lots of homework for South Africa to worry about and do.
Wow. Wagner into Steedman. Short ball outside the off stump. Steedman looking to swat at that one. He misses it. No run there. He was looking to ramp it. That was the shot that he was trying to do. But I don't think he brought his bat in quick enough. I love how these tail enders are practicing shots that they shouldn't be practicing. That's another story for another day. Conway is at square leg. There's also a short leg in for Steedman as Wagner bowls one tight on that off stump. No foot movement from Steedman. He just uses his bat to defend that to the fielder at mid-off, no run.
So did you get a chance to see Wagner play when he was playing like Super Sport Series all those years ago for the Titans?
No, not really, actually.
So there was a time where
even then he wasn't good enough to be inside. So how are you going to use Morne, Morkel, Dale Steyn, and Vern? Short ball into Steedman. He rides the bounce again. And it pops out to a point, no run.
Well, he had Steyn. I mean, when Wagner was doing his thing for the Titans, it was 05, 06. And Pollack was still in the test team. You know, so Makai Ntini was also very much involved in the test team. So
Andre Nel
it
was
was
there.
Andre Nelze, I mean, the enforcer. He was there, right?
I
So
think Dale was
very
starting out as well.
Dale was starting
Ball,
out. Yeah,
next ball outside the off stump, going on with the arm, and
yeah.
Steelman just letting that go through to Tom Blundell. I love how Glinton Steelman is standing between us and sleep. When these two are standing between us and sleep, but we are
So
thankful for.
so how many? So quite a few South Africans have made their home in New Zealand and have done well in the cricket league circles. You had Grant Elliott not so long ago. We won't talk about which game that was.
Wagner honing in on that off stump and it's defended back to the bowler. No run. End of that over 102 for 8. These two in the middle. Steelman on 5. Janssen on 7, showing the application that the rest of the batting order needed to do.
BJ Watling, in fact, was born in Durban, if memory serves.
Yes, he was. He was so great for New Zealand. So amazing.
No, he was awesome.
And coming into the series, Tom Blundell was the one person I thought his position was under fire. Because BJ had retired, and now with that 96, it buys him a little bit more time and gives him a little bit more confidence as well. As Southee starts to Marco Jansen, it was overpitched and driven square to the point boundary. It will be hauled in by Devon Conway, number 88, and it's only 2 runs to add to Marco Jansen's total. Score goes up to 104 for 8.
They'll probably do like 1 or 2 more overs and then go straight to lunch, I'm guessing.
No, that's 30 minutes.
Oh, it's full 30 minutes.
Yes, you have to give them.
Oh, it's a great job.
You'll take lunch at 2:30 South African time, and then we'll be back at 3:10. Fuller length ball outside the off stump. Mark Jansen letting it go through for no run. Elongating the inevitable, making New Zealand work for it.
Yeah. Judson is maybe he can score that 80 odd that he scored at the first class level to show some respect.
Of course.
It shows a little bit more respect or some dignity to the scorecard, I should say.
Oh, what a ball from Southee. This one just getting a bit of an inside edge off the bat of Marco Jansen. Down to the leg side. He'll take a single. He moves up to double digits. The third South African to do so today. In this innings, as Mark Jansen moves.
But that baffles me, though. It baffles me, because your back is against the wall. You know that these guys are going to get a better view of the ball. You, Jansen, and you are. Sorry, why is his name escaping me now? You are Jansen and you are who's out there, Linda now? Steelman, right?
Oh, he walks into one there. He's so good, is Tim Southee, to get the ball to swing away at the right time, but no edge as Glenton Steelman effectively walked forward, presenting a straight bat to Tim Southee. Tim Southee wasn't good enough to get the edge there in that instance. Oh, Glenton. At least he's gotten some runs at international wicket. He's going to walk out with an international wicket. He's going to walk out with 5 runs in international cricket. I think it's even though they lost, it's something that he can look to. And then he drives beautifully to the fielder at mid-off. Kyle Jamieson, for as tall as he is, he throws himself around. No run there. 1 ball left in the 38th over with 16 minutes until lunch. New Zealand looking to have champagne with their lunch rather than just the normal Gatorades and Powerades and whatever else energy drinks they drink with their rice, and I'm assuming, I don't know if they do curry that side. Ooh, lovely in-swinging
They
ball,
probably do.
out-swinging ball to Glenton, who defends this one back to mid-on. End of that over 105 for 8. Now, what do you think they would serve at lunch in New Zealand?
Nah, it'll be a light lunch. They'll probably do toasted sandwiches or something like that.
Toasted sandwiches.
Nah, they're not going to bring up Boboti. They're not going to bring up Boboti.
For the
They're going to
itis.
say, let's have early supper.
The best place in South Africa, the best stadium in South Africa serves the best food. I'm so excited because I think going to like
Which one is it?
I think it's Johannesburg. I think, oh man, Auntie Cherie just puts out a spread.
Really? I don't know.
Every time.
Cape Town is pretty good there, Mpo.
And we were there at Newlands. We were very underwhelmed. Very, very underwhelmed. The best lunch at Newlands was the lunch on the Friday, on the last day of the test match. Oh, another ball from Wagner. It's short and it's edged by Marco Jansen to Tom Blundell. It's muted applauses, which kind of made me think he didn't get the ball. He didn't edge the ball, but he did. And Neil Wagner gets his second wicket.
Good.
South Africa 105 for 9 as Marco Jansen has to go back for 10.
Yep. The writing is on the wall for a long time ago. At least.
It was on the wall of
The day one.
tea on day one. Yeah, so this time at Newlands was really underwhelming, but we had a braai, like they braaied meat on the Friday. I was just so lovely.
We're on the side.
Yeah.
On the side of the balcony.
Yeah.
On the balcony? On the...
No. Well, we got braaied meat. So I arrived and there was like meat that was barbecued and braaied, and you're like, oh, this is so good.
Oh, nice.
It's sponsored by Six Gun Grill. So I thought, and Six Gun Grill is like a marinating, saucy, spicy company. So I was like, why just that's food that's marinated by your spices? But anyway, but the food got progressively better at Newlands. The thing that got me were the tea time biscuits. Oh, they put out this jar of biscuits, and it just went down.
Weird.
Oh, it went
This
down.
is the best.
And thanks to Firdaus Munda, who's the ESPN Cricket Info, she was the plug. She was the plug. Plug.
She was this? How did you? She was
She
this?
was my plug into the cookies. She was like, come back at lunch. At tea. Lunch may be underwhelming, but tea will not be underwhelming. And they had these I don't know what you call them, these sweet type brownie looking things, but it's not a brownie, it's a Lamington. Oh wow.
Lamington,
Okay. Wagner into Duan Olivier with 3 slips and a gully. Duan's first ball, he plays inside of it and it goes to Blundell for no run. Last rights for South Africa right now, everybody, 105 for 9. It's been a horrible time for South Africa. 6 wickets lost.
Not a
in
very
the
memorable one.
and they're waiting to lose the 7th. Advia was the first one out when they started needing to get a whole lot of runs as Wagner comes in to Olivier just plays inside of it and he lets it go through for no run. South Africa needed 389 to let New Zealand bat again. And the first man out was Sadal Advia. He was LBW Tim Southee for a duck. Then the next man out was Dean Alger for a duck with South Africa scoring 2. He was caught Blundell, bowled Matt Henry as Wagner comes into Olivier. It hits him on the pad. There's an LBW appeal. Umpire says not out. Wagner knows that because it's going down leg.
He's not going to bother with the review.
At that time, the score was 2 for 2. Aiden Markham then was out with a score on 4 for 3 or 3 for 4. 4 for 3. He was out for 2. He was caught by Mitchell in the slips, bowled by Tim Southee. Then South Africa ended up at stumps at 34 for 3. Next ball from Wagner going out to the across Olivier. He lets that go through to Blundell for no run. They resumed today on 34 for 3. Second ball of the day, Rassie van der Dussen was bowled by Matt Henry, an in-swinging ball taking his off stump, exposing that gap between bat and pad. Zubair Hamza was the next man out. He was caught by Mitchell at first slip off the bowling of Kyle Jamieson at the start of his spell today for 6. Next ball from Neil Wagner to close out that over outside the off stump. Olivier lets that go through to the keeper, no run. End of that over, 105 for 9. To close out the scorecard, Timber Bavuma was the next man out with South Africa 87. He scored 41 or 73 balls. He was LBW from a beautiful ball from Neil Wagner that swung in. Next man out was Carl Verena on 30 of 38. That's his high score in Test cricket. Caught Colin de Grandhomme at third slip, bowled Tim Southee. And Marco Janssen, Kagiso Rabada was the next one out. He was caught by Kyle Jamieson for his pair, bowled by Tim Southee at mid-on. And then finally, Marco Janssen was out, caught behind by Tom Blundell, the wicketkeeper, off the bowling of Neil Wagner for 10. As Southee resumes to Steelman with a ball that squares him up, but it's still too good for Steelman, and it goes to Blundell for no run. South Africa currently 105 for 9. From a bowling perspective, Tim Southee 4 for 34 of 16 overs. Matt Henry 2 for 32. He's 1 away from a 10-for in the match. Kyle Jamieson 1 for 24. Neil Wagner 2 for 14. It's been an incredible match for New Zealand. They have hit every single mark, and they hit it with
All New Zealand.
Full ball
All New
into
Zealand.
Steelman. He drives that one back to the bowler for no run. Van and Erasmus saying an absolute demolition job from the World Test Champions, which we agree. Now they're playing like the World Test champions. New Zealand's becoming the fortress that it was. I just don't know how I would feel playing Bangladesh after Bangladesh beat New Zealand in these conditions. Southee in.
Well, we do have Bangladesh at home.
Oh, full ball, and it misses everything. Got underneath Steelman's bat, but it missed off stump, and it goes to Blundell for no run. Just that's too good. Too good for Glenton Steelman. Too good for all of us. As it pitched, it swung away. This man is just so good. So good at what he does. It does Tim Southee. Steelman laughing because he knows that he bowls balls like that too. And that's why he's in the team. In this match, just wasn't to be. Southee into slips down the leg side and is caught by Tom Blundell. No drama there. Just to have to bowl. There's no drama there. So everyone's waiting 7 minutes until lunch. 1 wicket to be taken. Steelman trying to get to that lunchtime. Situation. Ravi, I think you can go grab water if you need to. I'll just carry the broadcast. Hopefully no wicket will fall at that time. Southee into Steelman. This one's on off stump and it's driven, getting it inside half of the bat. And Steelman will take another single, labored single, by the way.
Shot of the match.
Yes, it was.
I'm just kidding. There's some beautiful punches from Verena, of course.
Carl was playing really well outside that off stump, but teams need to know. You just need to bowl straight to him. Just bowl it straight, and he'll edge it. 1 more ball in the 40th over. New Zealand 1 wicket away. The fans waiting for that rapturous applause to congratulate this team. And Southee into Olivier, who defends that off stump really well out to the fielder at cover for no run. You've got interesting things. You've got milestones here. You've got Southee, who's on 4 wickets in this innings. You've got Henry, who's on 9 wickets in the match. Surely you'd give Matt Henry the ball now, and you would hope that he, either one of them, whoever can take the next wicket, will get the big milestone. Matt Henry's holding onto the ball for dear life right now, probably letting the skipper know that he wants to get that. A few South African fans in the stands. As a South African fan with the British and Irish Lions jersey that was worn last year when the British and Irish Lions came to tour South Africa. We also got a fan wearing the Absa South Africa jersey from a couple of years ago. Wagner into Steeman, who cuts this one, and it cuts it over Bruce Mitchell. Diving at first slip, it will roll away to the boundary for 4 as Glenton Steeman gets to double figures, the fourth South African to do so today. Lovely edge, it was a top edge, and Mitchell diving with that one hand, couldn't catch it. He isn't David De Gea, but it will go to the boundary for 4. Vanna asks, any thoughts on possibly bringing in Rickleton for Markham in the next match, continue playing an out-of-form batter, or play with another debutant in the series who at least has some confidence? I want that to happen. I don't know it will happen. And this next ball is played off the hips of Glenton Steeman. He will go through for a single. South Africa is on the Nelson now, 111 for 9. 111 for 9. And yeah, so it'll be runs off the bat, 11 from Steedman right now. But yeah, Van, I would agree. I would bring in Rickleton for Markham. Just having another debutant is something I don't think Mark would want. But as I was telling Ravi, I think having a defeat like this, as the next ball that comes in from Wagner, beautiful ball, getting the edge of Olivier. It bounced just in front of Mitchell there. It was very low as it came through. So Olivier lives to see another day. So going back to Mark Bach, I think he won't want that. And the nature of this defeat, it's very hard to drop somebody to say, you were the worst of the lot, even though everybody performed badly. And a short ball in from Wagner, defended back to the bowler, no run. And so, so you're probably going to see South Africa pull out the same 11 as it goes through. And then Jagannath says, high time to get a proper batting and fielding coach. Jagannath, they do have a batting coach there, Justin Salmons, who was the batting coach for the champion Lions side over their successful period. And the fielding coach is Justin Anton. But I do agree with you, the fielding needs to be looked at. As Wagner bowls an in-swinger to end the over, not end the over, lost ball, one more ball left in his 41st over, no run there. Ravi, it's a Nelson. The only thing you missed was a cut shot from Glenton Steeman, as well as a single down the leg side from him. South Africa's on 111 for 9.
Yeah, and I noticed that there was an edge, but just short of the field, I think, Blundell.
That was a really good ball from Wagner. Last ball of Neil Wagner's over, back of a length, defended out to 0.4, no run. One more over in this lunch session. Can the South Africans survive and make people wake up and come back for another session at 3:10?
Eternal optimist, eh?
You could say so. It's just very, look, you got to be optimistic. Should we get lunch, I'll be playing our preview podcast that we did with Adam Bell, myself and Tim on the Full Quota podcast, talking about this New Zealand team. So you will know what makes this New Zealand team tick, what makes them great, what their weaknesses are that we identified at the beginning of the series. As Southee comes in to Glenton Steeman, it's on off stump. Glenton defends that really well out to mid-off for no run.
No, what's interesting is that I think I might be mistaken about the podcast with Adam Bell, but in that podcast, didn't he say that if whoever wins a toss, they need to bowl first?
Yes, I asked him
that's
that.
what I said,
what do you do? He said bowl first.
bowl first,
But that's been New Zealand's thing. Win the toss, bowl first. Bowl the team because you know the conditions better. You will bat for a long period of time. as the next ball just goes out past a flailing bat from Glenton Steeman that doesn't get the edge to Blundell for no run. And that's what they do. Both teams are cheaply. They bat for longer, score like 300, 400. The game's in their control. And even if there's a fight back in the second innings from the visiting side, they have themselves enough time to win the game. And that's what how this New Zealand cricket side have been playing cricket for the last 10 years. Jagannath says Rickelton should play against Bangladesh at home rather than the next test. What is the injury status on Ngidi? I'll get that to use full on-off stump, defended back out to the leg side, no run. I think Ngidi should be fit for the next test. We haven't heard anything, but it's one of those injuries where if you wake up in the morning and your back is sore, you won't play. But throughout the day, your back will be fine. It's just that they won't risk it having you start the game. So that's the only problem about having those back spasms, is that when you wake up with a back spasm, you know you're not going to play, even though it will stop somewhere in the middle of the day. And then there's the next one. It's an LBW appeal. It hit Glenton Steeman on the back foot, and Tim Southee was celeb appealing. He was already running down the pitch, thinking that it was a wicket, and Tom Latham decides to go upstairs as the umpire said it was not out. The only problem about that is probably height. And probably
I would say it's a bit too high.
Yeah, if only, just like remember the Indian team thought that SuperSport controlled Hawkeye. If only the broadcasters in New Zealand control Hawkeye just for this one, so we can get some six screen.
Did he get any penalty for that, Paul?
They got some sanctions. They got I think they got fined for their comments in that final day. In the final test match, did the Indians. That one hit him low. Yeah, so from an ultra edge perspective, that is fine. Didn't hit the bat. We're just waiting for Hawkeye to come through and see if it will be the end of the nightmare in Christchurch, as we get three reds, and it means that South Africa lose this match. They've been bowled out for 111. Steeman goes for 11 LBW to Tim Southee. New Zealand win by an innings and 276 runs on the stroke of lunch. All I can say to the further gorillas who are going to wake up and tell us who are going to wake up and do commentary is that you can keep on sleeping. Game is over. South Africa have now ended. New Zealand have now ended this nightmare 2.5 years cricket. We didn't even reach halfway in the test match, and the game is already over. It's not a great advert for test cricket, but it's a great comeback and a great start to a team that has struggled to beat South Africa. And New Zealand go 1-0 up in a 2-test match series, looking to conquer South Africa, which a team they have not been able to do so at home, by winning the next test match at the same Hagley Oval. We'll just get you when that next test match will start. I've given you the scorecard. South Africa being bowled out for 111. Bavuma top scoring on 41 of 73 balls. Verena scoring 30 of 38. Marco Jansen scoring 10 of 24. And Glenton Steeman ending out with 11. Everyone else in single digits. Advia, who made his debut on a duck. Alga on a duck. Markram on 2. Rassi on 9. Zubair Hamza was out for 6. Rabada out on a pair. And Oliphid is not out on a duck. The next test match in the series will be back live here on Gorilla SA on Friday, next week Friday, on the stroke. So it's Thursday night coming into Friday on the stroke of midnight on the 25th. The Nightmare in Hagley ends. The question is, next week Friday, will it continue, or South Africa come back and show us how great they are? Well done to everybody. Thank you, everyone who's been on the broadcast. Thank you, Ravi, for coming through. You took 7 wickets today, so I really do appreciate you hanging around with us. Final comments. Jagannath says, nowadays, no one wins away from home other than India. No one does that, so no harm with that loss. And Chris Teeb says, thanks, lads. Sleep well. Thank you to everyone. Everyone, thank you very much. Goodbye. Good night. Lesale.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Lesale kakahiso.
Life is lazy, life is sweet when January comes. As long as one team's bowling and the other's making runs. I know as soon as I wake up if it's my lucky day. If the cricket's on the ABC